So y'all definitely, everybody, I know y'all gonna retweet it out if y'all already hadn't, but definitely go ahead as well too. We're gonna get this thing rolling. We live on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, we're talking about the protection that the Trump administration has revoked for Haitians, Nicaraguans, Cubans, and Venezuelans. So that's going to be the discussion tonight, man. You talk about 530,000 people that this is going to impact, and each group, I think, with the exception maybe the Venezuelans, everybody's in the 100,000 in the 100,000. I think it might be something like 3,000 Venezuelans that's going to be impacted as well too. Now, of course, we know that that doesn't mean that by the end of this year that everybody that's on that list is going to be deported or anything like that as well too. But the protection status, that's about to be up, and I believe it was supposed to be in April sometime that the protection status was actually supposed to be going as well too. So shout out to my people that's going to be coming into YouTube. If you're over there on YouTube, you're coming in checking us out here on the News Toter /X space/podcast/broadcast. We definitely appreciate you guys coming in. What's up, Opalaka? What's up, Opalaka 305 over there? What's up? I'm in the 850 in the Panhandle, Tallahassee. So what's up with you, Opalaka? I see Nightfall is up in there. Our mainstay. Nightfall's been with us for a long time. He's a moderator over there. So shout out to Nightfall. What's going on? What's good with you too? Let me give a shout out to some of our people coming in. I see Miss Mary's up in the spot with us. What's up, Miss Mary? How you doing tonight? Concerned Black American, what's going on with you as well too? Weeksville Warrior, what's up? What's up with everybody coming up in here? Professor, this ought to be a good conversation tonight, man. I'm hoping. I wish we can. I see my girl Rerod down there. What's up, Rerod? Shout out to you, sister. I saw that you had a space the other day, an important space going on about women's health, fibroids. So shout out to that sister. She's holding it down, doing her spaces as well too. And I think a couple years ago we had a space on fibroids as well too. So shout out to Miss Rerod as well too. Black health, be it male or female, is so important. So shout out. That's a very important space as well too. So much love to my sister as well too. But man, oh man, Professor and DJ actually talked me into this space tonight. They was like, hey, yeah. I told them that I want to do this. They're like, man, you might as well go ahead and lead it off this week with that. We might as well go ahead and get it in. Remember last night, Professor? Y'all was like, hey, go ahead and start this one up.
Yep. Because this is very key to what we've been talking about, family, with these folks being out of our way and out of our hair. This should have been done a long time ago. If you're not legal here, and you've been coming in this country for all this time now, getting and leeching and taking and whatever, now your legal status has been revoked. And that's a good way to start getting these folks up out of here, because Trump been telling everybody, hey, I am looking to try to get these folks up out of here, and he's sticking to that plan, revoking their statuses, legal status, and everything. So, and look, I know some people will sit there and say, Black Americans are being mean and evil. Like I've seen some of these posts, coming from these other groups. And but hey, it ain't no different than what these other groups been doing to us when they've been talking about we don't deserve reparations and we ain't gonna get reparations and all we do is complain and we don't do hard work and all this stuff. Hey, now we get to sit back and kind of take a peek at how you folks are being picked up and thrown in the back of trucks and thrown in the back of the cars and being put on planes and flown up out of here. That's right. And that's right. You folks got to get up out of here. I'm sorry. Hey, no more trying to protect other groups. We got to be about protecting our own people. That's right. We can't protect other people because these other people never appreciated what we have done in this country. And they think that they get to just come in here and just do whatever and take from us. So we ain't gonna allow you to take from us anymore. And we're not gonna be sitting here caping for you anymore. So I'm gonna land right there, total. But yeah, me and DJ definitely want to want you to talk on this one because this is very important to the family, along with other issues that we have going on.
Yes, sir. And for the people over there on YouTube, y'all definitely leave some comments over there so we can share it with the people over here in the X space as well too. I'm gonna go ahead and touch up on this article real quick. Can you hear me, Professor?
Yeah, I can.
Okay, this is from the Pittsburgh Courier. It's titled "Trump Revokes Protections for 530,000 Haitians, Nicaraguans, Cubans, and more." Pittsburgh Courier is a Black-owned newspaper, Black-owned site, so you guys support that. I think they've been in business maybe over 100 years. They're old Black-owned newspaper, so guys, check them out. The Trump administration is moving to remove the temporary legal status of over 530,000 migrants from Haiti, Nicaragua, Cuba, and Venezuela. According to BBC, over 530,000 migrants brought into the U.S. through a Biden administration sponsorship process known as CHNV were warned to leave the country before their permits and deportation shields expire on April 24th. Former President Biden launched the CHNV program in 2022 in an effort to open legal migration pathways and help curb illegal crossings of the border. Under the program, migrants and their family members were allowed to stay in the U.S. for 2 years under temporary immigration status if they had American sponsors. Trump suspended CHNV upon taking office. On Friday, March 21st, the Department of Homeland Security said the program had failed to meet its goals. The Biden administration granted them migrants opportunities to compete for American jobs and undercut American workers, forced career civil servants to promote the programs even when fraud was identified, and then blame Republicans in Congress for the chaos that ensued and the crime that followed, the department said in a statement. Through CHNV, 213,000 Haitians were reportedly able to enter the U.S., more than 120,700 Venezuelans, 110,900 Cubans, and over 93,000 Nicaraguans were also allowed to enter the U.S. under the program. Karen Tumlin, founder of Justice Action Center in California, says she plans to challenge the Trump administration over the removal of CHNV in court. Tumlin said the move hurt people who did everything right that the government asked of them. To say, "Oh, we're sorry, even if you had 18 months left on your grant of permission to be here, we're going to pull the rug from under you in the next 30 days is really quite surprising." Right. So that's a lot of people that I just named that's going to be, whose status will be no more come April 24th. And, from what the lady was saying, Karen, she was saying that basically that some people had as much as 18 months left on that, but because Trump administration, they didn't pull the plug on it. It don't matter how much time you got left. They're telling you basically, hey, you're fair game, and anything that happens. Now, to my knowledge, and anybody correct me, because DJ was saying something. I know he was saying that something like, I think so far maybe 40 some odd thousand people have been deported. Does anybody know the actual amount of people that's actually been deported in the country so far? Because I'm hearing different numbers. I heard something like 50 some thousand. I heard something like 40 some thousand. Right now on March 24th, I heard that number was in the 40 some odd thousands of people that had already been deported. If anybody knows for sure how many people have been deported, let us know. Hit us up in the comment section. Nightfall says not enough. Let me read another comment. Nightfall says.
Yeah, Nightfall is right. It's not enough at all, because here's the thing. We think it might be around somewhere 40,000 to 50,000 maybe. But here's the other part to this family is, what about the ones that have self-deported themselves up out of here? So see, you got to think about that too, Total. The ones who have ran up back out of here over the border jump back over, whatever the case may be, or maybe they jumped back on a ship and went back over or something. But however, they decided to get up out of here. So that's the thing. You got to think about the numbers that Trump and his team have used to get up out of here, that they have sent back over. But these ones that have said, okay, we're going to leave because if we don't, they're going to catch us anyway. So, just something to think about.
Okay, I see Nightfall said the numbers during the Obama and Biden was 20 million, 40K is nothing. What do you mean by 20 million? Night, you saying that they allowed 20 million people in here? Because I know they didn't deport 20 million people. So definitely, if you clarify that a little bit, because I'm not entirely sure exactly. But it's a lot of people. It looks like first and foremost, we see the amount of Haitians that's up there over 210,000. I think I just read, and then you had a number of Cubans over the Cubans. And the Nicaraguans are all over 100,000, and the Venezuelans at 90 some odd thousands as well too. So Nightfall. So yes, they let 20 million people in, 11 million during Obama. Yikes! I mean, I knew it was some millions, but that's kind of astronomical right there. When you talk about that's the amount of people that they actually let into the actual country illegally. At that, that's a big cut. Now, Professor, that article I just read and talking about the amount of people, and you also had in the article, let me touch up on that article real quick. You had them saying from the Department of Homeland Security, they kind of put the blame on the Biden administration. They were saying that the migrants basically was granted opportunities to compete for American jobs, undercut American workers, forced career civil servants to promote programs, even when fraud was identified. So I know they started talking about, then they blame Republicans in Congress for the crime and stuff, but just forget the part they talk about that they blame Republicans when they're saying that, that by allowing them in, that they were able to compete for American jobs, undercut American workers. And even when, and even for civil servants to go ahead and promote programs when fraud was identified, that's kind of, and how true that is or whatever. I mean, I guess that's in the eye of the beholder, but the fact that they're saying that, hey, even when fraud was identified, that they still were promoting these programs and stuff, that's kind of a problem in so many ways as well, too, man. I mean, when you're saying that, hey, fraud was identified, yet we still got these people that's been in the system for years and stuff like that was in leadership, and they still went ahead and they allowed this to actually happen. That's definitely not doing the program any favors as well. Too. Let me get that shirt, that exact number. They're saying that 213 Haitians were able to enter, 120,000, more than 120,000 Venezuelans, 110,000 Cubans, 93,000 Nicaraguans. The Cuban thing is definitely something that is really surprising. The Cuban thing is surprising for a simple fact that here in Florida, we can tell you firsthand that Cubans have been put on the pedestal, maybe more. Cubans have been put on a pedestal more than any other group who's ever migrated to Florida, period. They allowed the Cubans to go ahead and take over. I'm not going to say South Florida. They allowed them to take over Miami. But the fact that they're talking about actually cutting the status for Cubans, that is really, really surprising, considering, they run Miami. They don't run any other counties in Florida, but they definitely run perhaps but the biggest and the most influential county in the entire state, which is Dade County, the largest county by population. And they pretty much run it. They pretty much have their way with it as well, too. So, what is, hey, Nightfall, when did we get a bed winch? Okay. I see, shout out to you, Reps over there. I see Reps over there. I see you leaving a comment. But yeah, man, Professor, you could touch up on that article. Just tell me what you think about that sheer number of actual people. And like I said, the Haitians, we know just by proxy, they're going to be the first to go. They're going to be, and they've always been treated like the ugly duckling. So they're going to be the first ones to get the boot. First and foremost, I personally believe Cubans, especially here in Florida, that they're going to do that. Their damnness to try to go ahead and keep the Cubans in the actual country as much as possible. But just by the actual, on that pecking order, Haitians are going to be the first ones to go. Then probably the Venezuelans. Venezuelans and Nicaraguans are probably about an even heat or whatever, but the Cubans going to be last. They're going to go ahead and they're going to have the Cubans last to go up in that list. Shout out to Trouble. I see Trouble up in here as well, too. What's up, Hilda? I see you down there in the listener section as well too. If you guys want to speak and talk about it, if your states, your city, your towns, your counties may be impacted by this, and I'm sure everybody's will be impacted to a certain degree. I'm here in Florida, so even though North Florida doesn't have the amount of illegals that South Florida and even Central Florida have, we're still going to be impacted too. And matter of fact, my cousin, he owns a construction company. And I was saying, like, hey, man, what's going on with some of the work and stuff like that? And because I know occasionally when he was shorthanded, he would hire some Mexicans and stuff like that. Like, he told me months ago, like, man, the Mexicans up and left once Trump came in the office. So it was like, because I said, I don't see hardly no Mexicans at Home Depot no more, bro. So what happened? He was like, yeah, they pretty much done hightailed it like once Trump got up in the office. So that's what we at here in Florida. Well, that's what we at in North Florida. Like I said, that ain't South Florida, that ain't Central Florida, but the Panhandle, North Florida is a little bit different in terms of the representation that they have in terms of the actual illegals coming here. But it's thick regardless. It's thick regardless. And I want to hear people, and hopefully we have some people in here, that may have some, Caribbean background, whether you're Haitian, you're Cuban, Venezuelan, Nicaraguan, whatever. Come on up here. Tell us how you guys feel. If you think this is unfair, the treatment, what can be done or whatever, please feel free to come up here. Even if you're just a regular Black American, come on up here and talk as well too. So definitely, I definitely want to hear it. I definitely want to hear what you guys got to say. But until then, I guess Professor will go ahead and chime in real quick and let me know as well too, because Professor, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not sure if Trump is going to get those numbers that he was saying. Didn't he say they wanted to deport 500,000 people in the first year? And I know we're only 3 months into the year, almost 4 months into the year. But do those numbers even seem like that's possible at the pace that they're going?
With the pace right now, no. But if he wants to get over 500,000, they will need to pick up the pace, man. Like, they need to hurry up and start sending planes everywhere to get these people up out of here. And they need to start having ice on every corner. They got to have ice going into all the houses where these people are hiding. If you really want to get them up out of here, you're going to have to go in every corner. You're going to have to dig in holes. You're going to have to dig out in the trees, whatever. Wherever these people are hiding at, you're going to have to go where they are and get them up out of here. But see, that's the thing, Total. How many of these people have already left on their own? See, that's the thing. We don't know.
I don't think many of them, Professor, just left on their own. I think most of these folks that's been over here for a couple of years, you've seen some of the actual videos and stuff. Most of them, you got to take them kicking and screaming. So I don't think most of them. Don't get me wrong. There's always going to be a tiny fraction. So I'm not going to say just 100%, but the vast majority of these people from some of the countries that they done came from and stuff like that, man, you're going to have to get them kicking and screaming, before they actually leave here on their own.
This is true. It's very true. But in the pecking order of all of it, I think Trump is really aiming for the Venezuelans and the Nicaraguans. I think he's aiming for that group first. Now, that's not to say that the Haitians are not at the top of that, but I think he wants those specific groups out of here first. The Venezuelans and the Nicaraguans, and because those groups are kind of tied into this whole gang activity that has came into the country. Like the MS-13s and this what's the name of that Venezuelan gang? I can't even say the word. We need DJ in here for that one.
Yeah, well, I'm thinking about the Mexican game. Don't you got a M13 or somebody like that? One of the Mexican, I can't think.
I don't know. I thought MS-13 was like a combination of all of them. Shit, I don't know. Anyway,
I'm not sure. I thought it was a Mexican gang, but you could be right. I'm not sure.
So it's a bunch of different Latin gangs. Let's just put it that way. There's a bunch of Latin gangs and people up in here, cartels and shit up in here, and we just need to get these folks up out of here.
Try not to curse, but you got it.
But these folks are coming in here trafficking. They're coming in here doing all kinds of stuff, and they, not to mention, they all up in the Black community doing things. They've been burning houses down in black communities. They've been assaulting people in the black community. We got to get these folks going. And that reminds me, our community, we also going to have to put up a fight on these groups, man. If they disrespecting you and trying to come at you, you got to put up a fight against these people, man. We can't keep taking stuff from people. You got to put up a fight. And that's not just these brown-looking immigrant groups. That goes for the Ukrainian groups. That group too. Any of them, if they disrespecting you or spitting on you, like I saw in some video where a white woman at a school, and I think she's from Ukraine, spit on a black woman. The black woman just sat there talking about, oh my God, she just spit on me. Man, what kind of mess is that, man?
So the black lady ain't do nothing?
No, and I know, as a matter of fact, I want some of my black American family that seen that video come up here right now and tell me y'all seen that video where that black American woman, I think that was a black American woman, was sitting there at a school, and there was a man, it was a white man and his wife. They sound like they could have been Russian or Ukrainian, and they wanted this black woman to move away from them for whatever reason. We all know the reason. But the woman, his wife, became really aggressive, man. She was talking about, I'm gonna effing kill you. And then the woman kept saying that she was not going to move. So then this white woman decided she wanted to spit on her. And no, the black woman told her did not do anything. She just said, oh, she just spit on me. She didn't do anything. So I don't know if that was a black American woman or not, but I do know if that had been one of our sisters, like a Trouble, I already know Trouble would have gave her trouble. See, Trouble would have put the trouble on her, okay? She wouldn't have let her just got away with that. She would have put the trouble down on her ass. Excuse my French. But yeah, I told her she didn't do anything. She just sound like a white woman sitting there talking, oh, she just spit on me.
Yeah, I can imagine some of the women in my family and some of the women I grew up with, girls I grew up with and stuff like that, they would have literally snatched this chick ball right here. As soon as she hocked that loogie, before you knew it, they would have been all over her. And I mean, it wouldn't have been nothing nice. Opalaka on YouTube says the black lady was an immigrant. So, I don't know if she's an immigrant, but Opalaka said that she's an immigrant. Let me be honest, I grew up with a bunch of Jamaican girls and stuff. They went to our schools and stuff like that as well too. And them girls I grew up with that was Jamaicans, they would have hopped on that woman as well too. They would have beat the absolute dog out that woman. So I'm just being real. I remember growing up, and we was close with a Jamaican couple that lived next door, Miss Lorna and Mr. Alvin. They was really, really close to us. And I remember riding to the store one time, and this white lady cut Lorna off because they was 7-day advantage. So they didn't eat pork or nothing like that. That white lady messed around and cut out Miss Lorna, talking about dirty white pork. I'm like, right, Miss Lorna, calm down, relax. But I mean, I don't know, man. I grew up with something that just would have worked that woman right. The minute she hocked the loogie like that, yeah, she would have got that treatment. Like I said, I know the women in my family would have absolutely just walked it down the street. But I grew up with a bunch of them too, as well too. That they would have gave her that business as well too. Matter of fact, we got us a sister up here right now, Miss Trouble. Trouble, what's going on with you tonight?
Hey, News Toter. Hey, Professor Freaky Dicky. Shout out to the.
What up, baby? What's up?
What's up now?
Chilling like a villain. You know good and well I'd have took them lips and I'd have snatched them clean off her face and slapped her with them.
I know you would have.
She wouldn't have known. She wouldn't have been able to spit for a whole year. But I can't talk long, so I'll just say this here. Hey, Brother Moo. I don't feel any ways about the protections being revoked for, it looks like the Haitians, the Cubans, think it was some other people too, Nicaraguans and Venezuelans and, mostly brown folks. I don't feel no ways because I've been waiting for a long time for the melanated proxies to get their melanated wake-up call. They've been walking around for a very long time acting like they are special minorities, special tinted people and over Black Americans for a long time. So it's about time that they get a little bit of wake-up call. They need a little bit of a spanking so that they'll understand what it is that we have been trying to tell them for a long time while they have been used to be weaponized against us. There was a post earlier by this Wall Street Apes person that had a post talking about how the CIA have been importing illegal immigrants from specific countries, concentrating them into one state, using them to elect a congressperson from their lineage who will represent their home country, and then advocating for policies in their home countries that the CIA or our government wants. So while they have been using these immigrants for, and this happened right after the Bay of Pigs, so that was during Kennedy's time. So they've been utilizing immigrants for the longest period of time, not only to destabilize their own home countries, but to destabilize the Black community as well. So you don't have any loyalty to your own home country. You're definitely not coming here and having loyalty. Hey, Alexa, chill, off.
TV isn't responding.
And if I talk about TV, off. Alexa, off. God damn. Oh, sorry. God, trouble. This thing just be popping on it anytime I'm talking. Like, if you don't get up out my business, we're gonna plug this shit here. So I'm sorry, Toda. But they don't have no loyalty to their own selves. They don't have any loyalty to us. So it's about time a wake up call has been given. We've got melanated immigrants coming in, and of course we have white immigrants that have been coming in under the same clause. That's why when we look at our congressional makeup, we see mostly immigrants up there. If we was to look into their backgrounds, I'm pretty sure the majority of the Congress people, both melanated, Black and white, are second and third generation immigrants. So I'm not mad about them. I recognize that it's sort of a racist move to target specifically the brown folks. But at this point in time in the game, I really just could care less. I could care less about the things that they're doing in this country because they're doing it regardless of how we feel about it. And obviously, until we are, as a people, tired of being tired and actually rise up and do something about it, things like these will continue to happen. So I don't know. I don't feel no ways about it. It is what it is. Get y'all wake up call, get right, tighten up. And the next time Black people try to tell y'all something, you know what I'm saying? Decide, make your decision on who you want to have your loyalty to. You want the loyalty to these crackers that's bringing you over here and destabilizing your own home countries and turning the people who built this nation, you're making enemies with us. At some point in time, you're going to have to realize who it is that has your backs. We all do. So I'll land right there.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Trouble. Shout out. I see a number of you guys up in here. What's up, Tata? Tata, it's been a hot minute, but I'm glad to see you up in here as well too. Shannon, it's been a minute too as well too. So shout out. Of course, I got brother Moku up there, been riding with us from day one. So it's always good to see Moku up in the spot as well too, holding it down as well too. So definitely for those, come on up here, talk. DJ, I know you must be in the listener section. I sent you the co-host, so whenever you get a chance, I know you're probably doing some other stuff, but when you get a chance, definitely come up here as well too. Like Trouble said, I I got to read this comment because this is some history stuff that they talking about. Opalaka 305 says, yep, after McDuffie riots in Miami, they sent the Cubans in to take over. Now, the McDuffie riots, I had to be maybe a baby, a really, really young or whatever, and I wasn't even in South Florida at the time, but when I moved down there, I heard about the McDuffie riots and everything else like that as well, too. And you're right, man. They kind of just pretty much and wasn't it a Cuban police officer that killed McDuffie as well too? And they tried to frame. They came with all this crazy stuff, trying to find all kind of BS to try to go ahead, and they did get the man off. And when they did that, Miami, just exploded for days. They was just down there getting it. I heard it was no joke down there. So yeah, that was and I would even say Opalaka, even in the 70s, they started really framing it where they started putting the Cubans in position and stuff like that to go ahead and take over as well too. And like I said, that only worked in Miami though. That didn't work over in the county next over Lauderdale, Broward, where I grew up at. That didn't happen. It was 3 white police officers. So 3 white police officers killed this man and shot him down like that. And then they came up with all this BS and stuff, all these lies and all this cover up and everything else like that. That's a story I need to watch that story because I remember seeing it as a kid and stuff like that. But like, man, Miami was like Beirut, man. I heard they was just like, yo, Opalak said the blacks ran all the whites out the city. Yeah, man, that may have been the nastiest riot, and they've had plenty of riots in the history of Florida, but that may have been number one right there. Like they weren't playing down there. They weren't having it. So shout out to Opalaka for bringing up that history as well too. But like I say, the Cubans on that list, watch and see, they're going to be the last ones because you got a number of Cubans, especially in politics in this country as well too. I guarantee you probably got more Cubans, especially in Florida. I can't say for the whole nation, but I bet you out of all the people in those groups, on that group, the Haitians, the Cubans, the Venezuelans, the Nicaraguans, I guarantee you got more Cubans that's in political positions throughout the nation, especially here in Florida, than you've ever had Haitians or Venezuelans. And like Professor said as well too, let's not also forget that the U.S. and Venezuela were going back and forth over that oil for some years and stuff as well too. So Venezuelans are already on they crap list. So they definitely going to go ahead and get them up out of here as well too. The Nicaraguans, I'm not really that sure about. I'm not really that much. I really don't know that much, in terms of the actual situation going on there. But Moku, what's going on tonight, man? You wanna speak?
Yeah, man. Thanks for letting me speak. Yeah, these protections. I have to say, without being stalked by Siri like trouble and shit. Trouble. You gotta get control of that girl stalking you like that. But yeah, I have to say that this is racism, white supremacy. For everybody that doubted it, thought that it was, chilling. Well, here it is, right in your face. Here it is. God damn. Like Public Enemy said, here it is. Bam, in your face. I would say that to this, I'm not surprised. I'm definitely not surprised, and I do agree with you, Toda. I think we're going to see more reactions from Cubans more so than the Haitians because, like I know Cubans are the ones that play into that white card. You know what I'm saying? Especially the lighter skinned Cubans and Cuban women. So I'm thinking like you, we're going to see a lot more reaction these weeks to come from the Cuban community, I think. And this is just I think a reality check card to tell you like, yeah, look, yeah, y'all still ain't nothing but niggas. Y'all some different kind of niggas, but you niggas. And so it's their reality wake up card. Now, what I'm dying to see is the reaction. Are we going to see a large outpour of Cubans and Haitians pleading to be part of white daddy and white mommy's society? Or are you going to be seeing a large influx trying to come and, bandwagon and be be with us or be on code, so to speak. That's what I'm dying to see. I'm dying to see the reactions of these ones that they provoking the protections of.
Yes, sir. And let me give a shout out to Opalaka for the super sticker. Thank you, Opalaka. What's going on, Miss Wani? How you doing tonight?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
Good. I noticed that Brother Muko said that it was racism, and I just wanted to know why he thought that.
Moko, you still up here?
I think. Yeah, I'm still up here. How you doing, Wani? I think the reason why I say it's racism, and I mean, of course, racism 101, is because the same thing that they're doing to the non-white Haitians and Cubans are the same thing that they do to the victims of racism, white supremacy. It have been practicing always. And the same way you got those same Haitians and Cubans that say it's not racism, white supremacy, I say, well, here goes your own dose of it. So that's why I say that's what I said.
That doesn't make any sense because they're doing this to all the groups. It's just the Europeans aren't over here in masses like some of the other groups, but they're being chased down and deported as well. They just don't live in a big group together, piled up in a house, so it just comes off as different looking. But yeah, they're rounding up British people, Irish people, all these random people. So I think they're going in on people that they know where they live. They're on an overstay visa, and they just know where they're located. They can just swoop in and get them. But some of these places with the big communities of people where they know that they're illegal or they know that they've asked for protection, they are targeting them too because they're easy to locate. They've already asked for protection, so they know where they live. So it's easy to scoop them up.
Oh, so Wani, so I didn't know that. So you're saying that they're getting even the European immigrants as well too, the Irish and all of them as well?
There's less of them, obviously, on overstay visas and violations. So it's not going to be millions of British people. But yes, they literally did snatch up multiple people in Florida that were British, and they were here. They overstayed their visa. They also snatched up some Nigerians that were here on a visa. They weren't here illegally, but they overstayed their visa. They snatched them up. So yeah, they just seem to be going after everybody that they can get that overstayed the visa, and also people that asked for protection and areas where people are known to be illegal. That seems to be the first targets.
Okay, well, I definitely thanks for letting me know about that, because you rarely see them going after the European immigrants as well too. And like you said, of course, I know they're not in large numbers the way that you have people from the Caribbean and different nations, Asia and Africa and all these other places as well too. But it's good to see that they are going after all of them as well too. Wani, let me ask you your opinion on this. The 530,000, the Haitians, the Cubans, the Venezuelans, and the Nicaraguans. Just what's your overall opinion about that in terms of the actual Trump revoking the protections on these people?
I think anything that he does to revoke their citizenship, help them to be deported, anything that's done is something that I want to be done, because yeah, there shouldn't be that many people here breathing down our throats, opening up their own clinics. Like I just saw a clinic today that said Caribbean Women's Clinic. You can't come over here and install your little ethnic bigoted clinics over here. They want to bring themselves here and act like this is their new town and set up little enclaves for just them. No, get out. I would like for them to leave. That's my opinion. They need to go, all of them.
Yes, ma'am. And we were talking about this. I don't think he was in the space. We know Trump was saying that he had plans of trying to deport as many as 500,000 people this year. I think the numbers, and you always get conflicting reports. I heard something like 40 some, anywhere from 40 some thousand to 50 some thousand right now has been deported. Do you think that goal that they put in place, the 500,000 people, you think that's realistic, or that was just pretty much just political politic type speech just to go ahead and gain more votes? Or do you think that's a realistic possibility that they may be able to hit that number or get close to that number this year?
Well, that was one of the reasons that I was skeptical about Trump, because we literally have about 60 million people here that should be deported. We have piles and piles and piles of Mexicans, number one. People have been coming across the border since the 80s. That's why you're seeing people from Colombia being deported, and they've been here 30 years. You're seeing that because they've been piling up over here. There's about, I would say about, we know there's 20 million illegals, and I know there's 20 million more, and then the border is untapped. There's probably about 60 million illegal people here, and they're just hiding out. I don't think we'll be able to deport them all. We just have to make them very uncomfortable. We have to make it impossible for them to work, and then they'll leave. We have to make them feel uncomfortable, like they're going to be hunted down. Maybe they'll self-deport. Maybe somebody else will be more welcoming to them. But I had an experience today where the person that was delivering something to me that was important spoke zero English, zero, and asked me that I needed to speak Spanish. What? We have a long way to go before these stores, this is from a big major store. We have a long way to go before these stores start providing American customer service, because they literally didn't and had to give me a $20 credit because I paid for a delivery and couldn't even speak to the person. So yeah, we have a long way to go. I don't know if it's realistic at all.
Yes, ma'am. I appreciate you coming up here, Wani. I'll say this right here. I remember a couple of years ago, I was in Orlando, and we went to went to Burger King or something. Like, nobody in there spoke English whatsoever. And I'm like sitting up here like, this don't make any sense right here. Like, it was bad enough in Miami and stuff like that, but now it's crept up to Central Florida, and there's no reason why you should have these entire enclaves in this country where people do not even speak English. So I'm with you. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think you need to have. I don't think you need to speak a foreign language. I don't feel that you should be able to. You have to speak a foreign language to damn graduate high school. I mean, that was a requirement. When I was in high school, and it's still a requirement here in the state of Florida. But they're like, well, you gotta have 2 years of foreign language and this and that or whatever. And I mean, I think it should be an elective, and but I don't think it should be a requirement. I don't think that you should have to be able to speak Spanish, which most people take, or French or sign language. I think I took sign language, but I don't think that should be mandatory. I don't think you should keep somebody from graduating because they didn't take 2 years of foreign damn language in America. Like, I mean, the language, and I'm glad Trump did say that the language is English. The national language is English or whatever, which should have been the case. I mean, it should have always been said that. So shout out to you, Wani. Thank you for coming on up here. Let me go ahead and get to C. Capone. C. Capone, go ahead and unmute your mic. How you doing tonight?
Good afternoon, my fine black people. But just to go off what Sister Wani was saying, let's get all these people out here and to speak to the topic of the room. I'm glad he revoking these protections, because this goes to our whole little cause of getting our paycheck from the government called reparations. And not too long ago, if this is any good news, how many Ukraine flags have y'all seen floating around this motherfucker lately? Not too many. You know why? Because
hey, Capone, try not to drop the MS, but go ahead.
Oh, my bad, brother. My bad. Appreciate it, Haley. I'm gonna level it up real quick on my dialogue. But yeah, I'm glad that he's doing what he's doing, because they come over here and try to, undermine us and do what they do just to get acceptance. So yeah, he's kicking everybody out. And I mean, like I said, I like it because we always been under pressure dealing with these people, and I like how my people are coming together like we used to back in the days. And this whole little thing with the segregation thing that I hear him talking about, I like that too. I want us to go back to forcing us to use our money within each other's, community, because
everything that we were doing together, we flourished. Until we started to open up to other people, that's when the problems came. We always had problems in our community, but we knew who it was and how to deal with our people. We know how to handle our own. So with him doing this and, you know what I'm saying, thinning the herd and clearing the paint out, that leaves more opportunity for Black Americans. And love, peace, reparations, delineations, and deportations, and I land on that.
All right, appreciate that. Wani made a point, and when she said that, you know, that it could be as many as 60 million people here illegally, I kind of agree with that. I think the census is what now in America, something like 330 million or something like that. But realistically, I always felt like, hey, you're probably close to down 400 million people here in this country. They have no idea how many people are here. They don't care how many people are here. They lie on these census forms all the time. They lie with our numbers as Black people as well, too. I don't know how long we're going to be in the damn 40 millions or whatever. The entire nation has grown and everything else like that, but somehow the Black population is just like a snail, just inch. So, you know, I don't even believe all that stuff. And, you know, when you think about it, and when you think about some of these other countries around the world, there's no way in the world that you're going to go to a place like China and have that many undocumented people living over there in China, and the government sits up here and don't do a thing about it. So, you know, I'm in agreement with that as well, too. I was telling somebody in my family, because they were saying, oh, yeah, you know, what's wrong about this and that, about the immigration. I said, listen, tell me what place in the world can you go as a Black man that you just go uninvited, you come into the country illegally. Not only do you come in the country illegally, the people feed you, they clothe you, they give you the same amount of rights as any other citizen in that country as well, too, with the exception of maybe being able to vote or something like that. I like, look, go ahead and sneak into one of these countries and see if they don't throw you in some kind of damn dungeon up here. You just have to be realistic about this stuff right here. They're not going to allow people that, as a Black man, if I was to go ahead and just enter and go into China or some of these other nations, even England or whatever, illegally, they're not just going to just welcome me with open arms and say, you know what, hey, we got a nice place. We're going to put you up in this nice hotel for $700 a night. We'll give you food stamps. We'll give you health care and everything else like that. It just doesn't work like that. So, I mean, I'm in agreement with that. You got to go ahead, man, and you got to fix this. But this system is totally broke. It is totally broke. DJ, what's going on? I sent you the co-host DJ, and I tried to send it again, but then the thing talk about you can only send it twice or whatever, the two hosts. So I don't know what it's talking about.
Yeah, try closing the app and opening it back up, but I'll try drop it down again after I say what I got to say. So, Wani, I'll bring you a good gift system. The IRS is now complying with ICE to release any numbers or information that pertaining to the illegals. So a whole lot of people about to start getting up out of here because we already done went over that in Professor Allah space about how they use the TIN number. This is why I keep telling y'all knackers, go get your tax ID. You can come over here, get a TIN number. That's a tax identification number. That's the acronym. And open up a business. This is why they got bodegas and liquor stores and woo-de-woo and got that. And they use this money to become citizens and legally buy other properties and farms. And yeah, man, I don't know what's up with us Negroes. We slow poking, man, for real though. You know what I mean? And yeah, back to what you were saying as far as like a lot of these folks gonna be upset as far as Black people that a lot of these telling knackers getting up out of here is the elders, yo. Let's go. They gonna be upset, yo, because they love these Mexicans for some reason. I don't understand why you always bigging up these people, yo. You know what I'm saying? They don't know how to fix anything right, you know what I'm saying?
Listen, you're preaching to the choir because, you know, I got, you know, people in my family and stuff like that. And that's the first thing they talk about is that, you know, the young Black men don't want to work. They don't want to get these jobs. And, you know, I mean.
Oh, they love saying that, bro. You lazy news total. You know what I'm saying?
All they want to do is sell dope and sit out there on the corner and this and that or whatever. And then I start naming off people in our family that work every day, have businesses, take care of their kids and all this other stuff. And then, you know, they're speechless. They can't say anything or whatever. I'm like, well, you know, I said, and I have to let them know. I said, you know, the people I'm naming, including myself, I said, we're not some exceptions. We're the rule. Most Black men work. Most black men ain't afraid to go out there and support their families. Y'all want people to go out there and work for 1980 wages in 2025. Well, yeah, they're going to have an issue with that. They're going to have a problem with that. So that's why you go ahead and you hire a bunch of illegals to come in here and do this work for nothing, basically, and stuff like that. And then you want to sit up here and tell me that black men don't want to do this and do that. And then not only that, it's an insult as well, too, because deep down inside, you're really giving a sneak diss. What you're trying to say is that you were the last generation of black men that was worth anything, and the rest of us that came after you basically ain't you know what. So that's what you're really saying, and you're trying to dress it up in a nice way or whatever. You didn't have a chance. You didn't have a problem going out there working and taking care of your family and doing this and doing that. But and I have to also remind them too, like if it is an issue, then maybe we need to go ahead and look in the mirror. I mean, if Junior ain't what Pops was, maybe Pops didn't put in the time that he should have put in with Junior. So don't start sitting up here with all that garbage and stuff because, you know, white people hear this crap. They already been saying it, and now y'all sitting up here taking their same talking points. That's how you got the damn crime bill passed and everything else in the 90s as well, too. You had enough Negro preachers and stuff sitting up here going along with this racist crap. And even Joe Biden came back, and him and Clinton, and they done had to kind of walk back that actions and stuff like that as well too. You still got a bunch of older black people still stick by. Well, you know, yeah. I said when they had the prohibition back in the 20s and the 30s and stuff like that, did they go ahead and set all kind of laws that was going to cripple white people in this country? You know, the white Jews, the Italians, the Irish, and all of them. That was these big time. They were drug dealers in their day. We can go ahead and talk about they was peddling booze or whatever, but they were the drug dealers in their day. Did they set up all kind of laws and stuff that were going to cripple these people? No, they didn't. So y'all go elsewhere with that crap. C. Capone, go ahead. You got it.
Yeah, brother. Just to go off your point, I don't care if my people dealing drugs. I don't. We have to get $1 by all means necessary in this system that we in. So I don't look down on how my people get their daily bread. Because if that was the case, the playing field would be leveled and we would outshine these people regardless. So me looking down on somebody who's trying to get ahead, you know, that's what I don't do. The only time I really get on my people is when they hurt the collective, you know, because I'll say this system is already rigged against us. So we got to do what we got to do to get ahead. And I salute all my scholars and everybody, you know, stand on that right road, because I wasn't on that right road, you know. So, I mean, like, it's tough out here. And, you know, salute to the ones that are doing it the right way, you know. But like I said, I don't look down on nobody who getting $8, however they decide to get it. And I land on that one.
Yes, sir. Now, you know, I would wish, you know, C. Capone, I wish, because we've seen the impact that drugs have in the black community. You know, I wish that, you know, our people didn't sell drugs, but also, you know, I look at it like all the other groups that were disadvantaged, groups that was economically left out when they didn't have.
They were allowed by the government, though, brother.
Yeah, but no. Hold on. Let me finish.
Go ahead, brother. My bad. Go ahead, brother.
All those groups, they get a pass on the criminality that they did to help build up their communities and the wealth of the country as well, too. People forget. When you look at them damn skyscrapers in Miami, that comes from damn dope right there. All of those skyscrapers that you see in Miami, that comes from damn cartel money, drug money. It comes from big things being laundered and everything else as well, too. Nobody, and let's be for real, a lot of the wealth in New York City, you know, New York City is the financial center of the world. Let's not sit up here and act like all of this came from good money. Yeah, let's not act like all this stuff came from just honest dealings and everything else like that. But when it comes to black people,
Irish mafia too, the Irish,
yeah,
and the Jews, the J-gang.
But when it comes to black,
for sure the Jews.
When it comes to black people, though, it's got to be 100% on the up and up. And if it ain't 100% on the up and up, then we got to find a way to go ahead and just start destroying people and stuff like that. Like I say, you don't see that with other groups. And the fact that they allowed also, like I say, and they allowed other groups who had immigrants like the Irish, like the Jews, like all of them up there in New York, like the Hispanics in Miami, allowed these people to go ahead and do all kind of illegal criminality and didn't do a damn thing about it. But when it comes to black people and stuff like that, the world done ended. You done set up here and you done took jobs out of black neighborhoods. Not only have you taken jobs out of black neighborhoods, you done sent them halfway across the world. And you want to sit up here and cry and complain about what black people did and this and that or whatever, but the same way you're doing black people, you never did to these other groups. That's the issue I have. And that's the issue I have with some black people sitting up here too, that'll sit up here and give you this, well, you're just making excuses and this and that or whatever, all this other crap. I'm like, no, buddy, open up a history book and see everything that black people accomplish. And every time you start accomplishing stuff, right down there in Miami, Overtown was considered the actual, what was considered the Harlem of the South until they start sticking damn I-95 right through the town and messing everything up like they did with all these other places in Florida and throughout the nation and things like that right there. People forget about that stuff like that. It's like black people, you have to hold yourself to a whole nother level. You just can't be a human being. You got to be above all of this other kind of stuff. So it kind of gets on your nerve, to be honest, if we're being truthful about it. What was I going to say? What do you guys feel about the actual legal immigration as well, too? Do you think that should be capped as well, too? Go ahead, Capone. You got it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Because they coming in here to undermine us as well just to get accepted. So I feel as if, I heard Marcel for Congress.
You got to be a king. You got to be a god out this bitch.
Right.
Hey, hold on, man.
Drop king.
Yeah.
Nothing like that. I agree. Legal immigration need to.
Hey, Capone, I just muted you 1 second so you can go ahead and get your thoughts. King Armstrong, we trying to let you come up here, man, but don't come up here with this stuff, just interrupting people and whatnot. Go ahead, Capone.
Appreciate you, brother. But yeah, legal immigration need to be capped. Illegal immigration need to be stopped by all means. I think we need to handle illegal immigration like the rest of the countries do. If you pass a certain part of the border, you know what I'm saying, you will be neutralized post haste, because they do that in other countries. We're the only ones that say, do you need a blanket? But yeah, I agree. Legal immigration need to be capped at a certain number because they coming over here already in high numbers and we outnumbered. And, I'm glad we doing what we doing for the unity to work. But, this special force we got is working. But yeah, let's cap that. I'm totally against all that. It needs to just be us for a little bit.
Yes, sir. I appreciate that. Wani, it sounded like you was trying to say something too. Did you want to say something about legal immigration? Should it be capped or not?
Yes, it should.
That was quick and to the point as well, too. Professor, what about DJ? I got you, Professor. What about you with the legal immigration? Anybody else as well, too? What y'all feel about that as well, too?
Definitely need to cap it all, man. We gotta put a stop to all these folks coming up in here, man. Too many folks up in here, and this should have been done a long time ago. Partially, it was our fault, though. Total, we do as Black Americans have to take some responsibility with this immigration stuff because our people kept voting for Democrats and just voting for people that never had our best interests, except they kept using us to bring more groups into this country against what we really wanted from the Democrats, which was tangibles, okay? And they have never given that to us. So I just want to say it really was partially our fault because we were not holding people to the ground and making these people responsible for giving us what we're supposed to be getting in this country years and years and years ago. I'm going to land right there.
All right. Go ahead, Wanda. You got it.
Amen, brother.
I was just going to say real quick to his point, not only did we do that, but we've been trying to get immigrants to come into this country since Frederick Douglass. He advocated for Asians, Japanese, and Chinese people to come into the country and advocated for their protections when they had problems. And then we followed that up with, being ahead of that 1965 immigration bill. We were all over that, pushing that as well.
And the Pan-African movement, Sister Wanda, you don't forget that.
Exactly. So we've been really, really trying, and now we have to unravel all of these things that we put in place.
DJ, I'm going to get to you. I want to read this comment that Nightfall has on YouTube real quick. Nightfall says, yes, they need to be fast-tracked if they are essential doctors, lawyers, etc. The rest need a 5-year plan. 2.5 years at home, 2.5 years here completed. Nightfall also says a cap of 150,000 from one country every 5 to 10 years. So that's Nightfall's assertion on YouTube. So go ahead, DJ. You there, DJ? Okay.
Yeah, I had to run back to the studio and type on the YouTube. Everybody gotta go. So go check the comments over on the ScrewTube news total. So yeah, everybody gotta go. So hey, Wani, I think it's more than 60 million illegals here. Let's not forget the DACA recipients. Those kids were allowed to stay here, and they turned around and had kids because if they were 18 and under or somewhat 17 or whatever at the time, back in 2008, well, they done grown up, became adults, and had families of their own. They gotta go. Like I don't understand. And look, this our fault too. We ain't do our lineage check on Obama. We just thought he was black. You know what I mean? No black Obama.
I want to read this comment real quick that James Dotson has as well too. Says Latin America has plenty of countries with thriving economies that these people could have gone to instead of the U.S. When you seek asylum, you go to the nearest nation. MD Williams says we've been way beyond maximum carrying capacity. And here's the thing too, like most of the immigrants only come to like 3-4 states, maybe 5 or 6 now. But and I said this before in spaces before, like people forget. The United States have a lot of territory that's not even, that's not really heavily populated. Like, why, when they do come, why not send people to Montana, the Dakotas, Iowa, Idaho, Wyoming? I know people, I think I was talking to my dad today, like, well, nobody wants to live there. I said, well, you can't. I said, Dad, you can't be, when you're a beggar, you can't be choosy. So, you coming into the country or whatever, you go wherever the hell they send you at, And if you don't want to go to those places that heavily populated, then you go back home. So that all this, well, you got an option, you got a choice. No, actually, you don't have an option or a choice. If you're coming over here, especially if you done came over here legally at that, wherever the hell they send you at, that's where you got to go at. It's no, well, I want to go to Florida and I want to go to New York and I want to go someplace warm and this and that or whatever. No, you're going to go wherever we got the place that we tell you to go at. And if you don't want to go back there, then you go back home. So it's that simple. All this, well, you got a choice and you want to go here and this and that. You ain't on vacation. You coming here illegally at that. You're coming here breaking the law, man, getting into the damn country. So, people forget about that. Go ahead, King Armstrong, man. We be trying to let you up here, man, but you be clowning too hard, bro. You be clowning hard as hell. Like, we try to let you up here. You start up here interrupting people, cursing, and all this other crazy stuff like that, man. I'm gonna see about trying to bring you up later.
I've been drinking.
Yeah, hey, ain't nothing wrong with taking you a shot or two or taking you a drink or whatever. Whatever you do, hey, fine. But damn, come on now. Original, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, this whole thing is just orchestrated against us. Because see, if you looked at old Jim Crow Joe's platform when he ran for president in 2020, he had 2 things on his platform that were just for black folks. One was called Lift Every Voice. The other one was called An Agenda for the Black Community. But when you read them, it had ambiguous language like minority, people of color, poor people, low income, et cetera, But then he had a platform for the gay community all through it. It just said LGBT. Now, see, what they're doing is they using us. See, whatever they're supposed to do for us, it always have that ambiguous language in it. So anybody that falls under minority or whatever can get this. But yet these immigrants, including the black immigrants, under immigrants, they use their immigrant status to give them resources, and we don't get it. So yeah, it is past time that we cut that off. I'm glad Donald Trump has done this, but he wants to send all these people back because see what they did was they exploited the system. Now remember when them people was coming from Venezuela, they said they was running from gangs. They all had the same lie that they was running from gangs. That tells me when Kamala went down there, somebody coached them on what to do. She didn't go down there to tell them not to come. She went down there okaying them to come up here. You see, but yet they always do that. And see, And that's why they don't want to. They're trying to avoid putting us under our freedman status, so that when we get resources, it's just for us. It ain't for them. And that's what these black immigrants are upset about. That is their problem. That has nothing to do with us. And I'm just glad that enough of us have awakened so that we can make sure that we get what is owed to us. It is not about being it's not about hating anyone else, because these Africans, hell, they didn't want to work with Malcolm X when he tried to get them to work with him. So if they didn't want to work with Malcolm X, you already know they ain't got no they don't want to do anything with us. So I'm just happy that this has happened. And I'm glad that the people in this room, we know what the real deal is. We don't have to deal with the old black media that doesn't do anything for us. But I just want to say that, yes, this is a plus for us. It's going to give us time. It's going to give us some sort of a reprieve that we can do what we have to do to take care of ourselves. I'm tired of us trying to take care of everybody else that don't want to do anything for us. They always fight against our interests. And now they're going to have to hold as I said, they have to hold their own nuts. And I land.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Original. For those that can, support us on Cash App, $ News Total, $ News Total. News Total is the largest Black-owned, Black American news media curation platform today in America. Once again, $ News Total, $ News Total. We also have the Venmo and PayPal up in the Jumbotron as well, too. Let me go ahead and get to it. It's been a hot minute since I heard from my girl, Tata, and Wani. I want to ask you something too in a second too. But Tata, how you doing tonight?
Hey, Toto, what's up?
What's up now? now you in Florida. You in Florida with me, so you know all about like the Cubans and everything. So I definitely want to hear what you got to say.
Yeah, you guys. I live in Central Florida. I work I'm just gonna say it. I work for the Central Florida workforce for 20 years, and I have learned where I thought I knew a lot. Oh my gosh, I learned so much in these 4 years. It's just blown me away. My whole perspective on everything. I just learned so much. At the beginning of this year, 2025, I was not playing with them. I've been to HR as of January 2nd because, they, were trying to elevate. They were elevating these Puerto Ricans and Mexicans. And when I started with the Central Florida workforce, that was in 2005. My son was 1 year old. He's 20 now. And, and I just, it was a lot of black women, black men, working, and it just completely changed. And what made me go to HR, because I've had so many different positions, but I applied for this project manager position, and I work specifically with the young adults department. And I love what I do because I'm helping my community. I moved back home to Florida, and I'm helping these young people who don't know what they want to do. I'm letting my community know the resources that are available to them. I work as a business services consultant, where I work with a lot of the businesses who want to partner with the workforce so they can take advantage of the resources that they have. And then I'm finding out, like 75 to 80% of the federal dollars come through us. And within these 4 years, I've saw all of these immigrants coming in with Social Security cards, photo IDs, and I'm like, how are they getting this stuff? How are y'all coming in here with fresh Social Security cards? And when did you come? Like 6 months, 7 months of last year. And I'm like, what? And so they're coming in. Then our workforce, they started letting the food stamp people would come through, the people about housing would come through, child care, giving these people all these resources. Right. And, you have all of our people and the homeless veterans coming through, can't get positions. It was just ridiculous. I went to, they sent me to the wrong event probably 3 years ago. And this where it just blew me away, and everything started sinking in because at this event, it was one of the biggest, nice hotel here in Orlando called Shingles Creek. And they had probably like 800 to 900 immigrants from all over at this event. These were their so-called elite people who were teachers or whatever. These people, they were grooming to be the chaperones of the people they were getting ready to flood into Orlando, into Central Florida. So these people, you know, they were more their elite or whatever, with teachers or whatever. So they were getting them prepared, and the what was it? Orlando public schools. They were connected, and the technical college were connected with these people to help get them up to speed for their people. So fast forward like a year later, then because we host a lot of the hiring events everywhere for Disney and a lot of these corporations. So I just started seeing the immigration attorneys at every hiring event. And then a lot of these people would flood into the hiring events with these chaperones with them. They were translators, helping them with all the resources we had available to hand out to these people, the jobs. Oh my gosh. I didn't even know I just started putting two and two together. I didn't even know we service these these people like this. Then, okay, so I went to HR January 2nd because I applied for this project management position, and that was after Thanksgiving. And so I'm like, what? Nobody called me. Nobody got my application. I went through, and the workforce portal to apply, and wonder why the lady didn't call me. So I contacted HR, and I'm like, did you guys see my application? Did it come through? And they were like, oh no, we didn't see it. And then one girl was like, oh, I think it was a hiccup. From it transferring over. I'm like, well, somebody better get to the bottom of it and find out why. And so they were acting all weird. So January 7th, my program manager, she reached out to me. Oh, and mind you, we both started around the same time with this woman. She's a half-breed. Her mom is white, her dad is black, but a big liar. She's gotten elevated and everything, and just don't know what she's doing. So she was like, oh, Tyra, we didn't see the thing. I never knew you wanted to do anything or go into another department. I never knew. And I'm like, what do you mean you never knew? What do we have these reviews for? What do you mean? You've been knowing me all this time. You know what I do. I'm the one that's more qualified on this team to do this work. I know all the system. I know everything. And I'm like, what do you mean? So she's looking all weird and silly. And then she had the nerve to tell me, this Puerto Rican girl, and then I asked her, well, how do you correlate me reporting to this Puerto Rican girl who just came in? And she was like, was Crystal worked hard. And that's when I about blew a lid, when she told me this Puerto Rican girl that came in our department barely a year, worked hard. Oh, I was done. So after I got off the phone with her, I wrote to my COO. So my COO, he responded in a minute. He's a black guy from the south side of Chicago, and he's our Central Florida Workforce COO. So he responded to me. We had our talk and everything, and I gave him the whole history and the history between me and this young lady and the lady that hired me. She's the VP, Puerto Rican lady under him. And I've been watching her moves with all of the resources that's going to these Puerto Ricans here in Kissimmee, Florida, is where we have an influx of these, Hispanics and Latinos. So he's watching. And then Thursday, we just had this big meeting in our department where he came in on vacation. They didn't know that he was coming. and one of the other black girls, she resigned, and so now we're having a lot of black folks resigning and everything because of the unfair treatment that's going on. So he came into our meeting, and the white lady and the half-breed one, she thought that they were going to run the meeting. And when he stepped in, because they didn't know he was coming, he was on vacation. And he said, wait a minute, we're going to do a whole nother twist to this meeting. I want everybody to speak up and tell me what what are you unhappy about and what's going on, And so everybody spoke on Thursday, laid it out, told them, the unfair treatment and all of this stuff that was going on. So I don't know, he's being very strategic about what he's doing. And so I don't know what's going to happen from there. But all of a sudden, I'm being invited to these top executive meetings. One of the meetings that I had 2 weeks ago downtown Orlando, it was a big business meeting. And they invited a lot of people from LinkedIn who wanted to know more about the workforce, and they were coming to see what other resources. This was probably like 15 nonprofits in this meeting, and a bunch of immigrants in this meeting coming to see what resources that they can get for their organization. They were Indian, Mexican, Puerto Rican, and so I'm like, oh my gosh. But the funding is cut right now. It's cut. So all the funding right now, how Trump has gone, we can only service all the influx of the money is going to the youth department. So to my department. So right now everything is on hold for now. So we have no money to be giving out, like putting people on internships and everything else like that. So they coming in, they're worried. And then they making these comments about the administration, and which I don't agree with. How do you want to make all these comments about what Trump is doing, and I'm sitting there and I'm like, I have no problem with it. And, so if I would have said that, they all probably, but I have no problem with what's going on. But they were in there, they were at the table, trying to see what resources that they can get. One organization, she was telling me, she thought she could talk to me about it. So I'm listening. She said that her organization take in refugees and, and other, immigrants that need resources. So it comes through our workforce, you guys. 80, and we work with state dollars, federal dollars. What I do is I meet with businesses who want to take on these young people for 3 months at no cost to the business and train them, put them on OJTs, internships, whatever you want to call it. Some of these young people coming out of college looking for work, so I align them up with their career path, whatever they major in. I find the business that'll take them. Hopefully they get hired. The business can train them for 3 months at no cost to the business. If they decide to hire them, good. That's a good placement. And then we also send these kids who's coming out of high school, don't know what they want to do. They want to take a trade. We have tons of dollars, whatever they want to do, HVAC, whatever trade they want to do. We have all this money allocated to those kids. And if they want to go on to a 3-month internship, that's $10,000 allocated to each one of those interns. So I find placement for them. I work with these different companies. And so that's what I do. And these people coming in with these nonprofits for their people, because they're looking out for their people, giving them these dollars. So it's just crazy. And I'm trying to tell my people, my Black community, I'm seeing it right in front of my face. What are y'all talking about? So I land. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Somebody, you said you had something to get off your chest tonight, Ty, because I don't think you ever spoke that long.
I'm giving them hell. I would have been out of there in 2021 because I had a full business. for 8 years, my own storefront, and the pandemic wiped me out in 2021. I was about out of here, out of that job, but I was working, building my business for the 20 years, and I got it to where I needed it. My son graduated in 2022. I was doing good, and it just wiped me out. And I was pissed for 4 years because how I built up that business, I got to start back from scratch, and I'm dealing with these immigrants coming in here thinking they are entitled or owed more than me. No. I'm from Florida. My mom and grandparents, they're from the Belly Beachy from South Carolina. No, a debt is owed, and I'm the debt collector. I want my money. No. So it's a trip. It's a trip, and they think that they are owed, are they entitled, are they, old more than me. We just celebrated my mom's 50th class reunion here. It was nice, and I went with her last weekend, and I had to get them a history lesson here in this hometown here in Central Florida, where my parents are from, Polk County, and I showed them my mom's class pictures, and this was during segregation. I got her 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, 6th grade pictures from 1960. It was 64, 65, 66, and 67. All black kids, the black teachers and everything. The school that we all went to, Bethune Elementary, I went to that school. My mom went to that school. My dad and my son even went to that school. They turned it into an academy now. But I had to get them a history lesson. Like, look, this is where all the black folks went to this school, if you know this area, and all the white folks. This was during integration on these pictures. You didn't see a Puerto Rican or Mexican or none of them in these pictures. And when I pull up some of my class pictures up until I got to the 9th grade, I didn't grow up with Puerto Ricans. They were not in my school until way later on. And then they start building up Kissimmee and Poinciana and all of these little areas. And that's when they started flooding them in from New York and up north and everything. They were not here. So, yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Tata said she had to get it off tonight. So. Hey, I didn't go to school with Puerto Ricans until like the 7th grade. Like, so I mean, yeah, I'm with you on that. Like when we moved into a mixed neighborhood, that was the first time that Puerto Ricans and Cubans and all the other stuff like that was all new to me as well too. So I feel you on that.
Exactly. Well, thank you.
Man, damn Tata, I was glad to hear you come up here, man.
Because she don't know. She don't.
On how this goes.
Well, you do that, Tata. Tata don't never come. She if she do come and speak, she only speak for maybe 50 seconds, maybe a minute. So shout out to my girl Tata. I want to ask you this question real quick, Wani. Matter of fact, it's what I read. It was let me see if I can find it. In terms of what my man Nightfall said on YouTube about only people that were essential people like doctors, lawyers, or whatever, a 5-year plan, 2.5 at home, 2.5 here completed. Are you down with something like that, like for essential people? And this is
No, there's no essential people. This country ran very well without immigrants. There's no essential people. They can all go home. They need to be essential over in Mexico and Nigeria and wherever they came from. They need to simply train our people. I mean, we have white people complaining about not being able to afford to be a doctor. Well, how are these foreigners affording to do it? Because they have a class system where they can do things that other people can't. That's why white doctors and American doctors are not able to afford things. And these other doctors are coming in here, probably didn't go to medical school, probably have some deal with the government to take an internship here. And that's why they keep getting caught with fake credentials. So no, they're not essential. In fact, everyone complains about them and they often get caught with fake credentials.
Okay, so Juan, your thing is like, hey, this ain't 1805 or even 1900. That hey, the population is big enough. We got enough people here and stuff. We got more than enough people that can go ahead and pretty much handle every task, every profession, and everything else in this country. We don't really need there are really no essential jobs that we need, because that's the thing that when they started talking about the East Indians and they started talking about the tech and everything like that and whatnot. Oh well, like it's like the Indians are supposed to be so much over everybody in terms of tech and everything else like that. So we got to have them. We got to bring them in or whatever. But you're saying like, hey, we got enough people here. Just train our people. Black, white, whoever's over here right now, black, white, the people that's already over here, we got more than enough, because hell, we got a population, like I say, that they say is something like 330 million, but it's no way it's only 330 million people in this country. I lean closer to anywhere from 375 to 400 million. And I would not be shocked if the population of the United States isn't already touching 400 million people. But you pretty much, I'm saying, hey, we got enough people here, so I can understand that.
Total. Now, wait a minute. Now, we got to make a correction on one thing. That is, these East Indians are over something, and they are over the odor. Very bad odor. They'll give you a lot of that. That's about all they good for. And somebody to tell them to get by soap, deodorant, and buy some damn washcloths. Cause man, whew, you ever go up in the gas station, man? You smell like goat and
all right, Professor. Let me go ahead. Let me get the King Armstrong up here. Let me let this guy come up here, and let's see what he does right now. I'm gonna give you a chance to speak, and let's see as my late mom would say, if you come up here and you show your color. Come on.
Man, come on, man. Listen, I want to talk to Tata. Tata, I'm interested in knowing what type of work you're doing with the Seminole Nation, our people, down in Florida.
Tata, she dropped down into the listener section.
Okay, so and she, right, people are not necessarily really understanding what they're saying, right? I mean, we listening,
She's taking, bro.
She's taking. So hold on. When you're talking about, Central Florida, right? Then the real Seminole people are involved down there in Central Florida. I asked Nikki Barnes the same thing, right? And see, what happens is, when we're talking about who's who, what's what, a lot of these people do not want to understand that they are the quote-unquote black, right? Quote-unquote, the American Indian.
Well, let me ask you a question, King Armstrong.
Hold on, brother.
Hold on. I'm gonna let you finish, but before I gotta mute you. What does that have to do with the topic? Go ahead. What does it got to do? It has
plenty to do with the topic, because even when we're talking about people that were sent to Haiti, a lot of those people were sent off this mainland from the south into Haiti. So all Haitians are not Haitians. Some Haitians
so you're saying
come directly. Hold on. Some Haitians, right? Quote unquote, one of the Haitians come up from some.
Hey, Starry, you got to mute your mic.
Yeah. So when we're talking about our lineages and our people, who's who, what's what, this is why it's very important, right? Fuck all the talking and the.
I done told you not to come in here with that language, man. Now I'm gonna drop you down. I'm giving you a chance.
All right, my bad. Right. Hold on. All right, my bad. I'm trying to cuss, right?
Go ahead, man.
Yeah. Trying to cuss right now. What we have to understand is when we're talking about places like Florida, Mississippi, Louisiana, the Carolinas, all the way up into that Mason-Dixon, we have to understand what and who we are actually talking about. Because if you don't understand what happened with your own families and you say you're from this land, this is the difference between the American Indian and the African American. Right?
Hey, nigga, you need to start drinking gas.
What does that have to do with the topic about Trump revoking protections for Haitians, Cubans, Venezuelans, and Nicaraguans? And also, if you did take some people from this country that and you send them to Haiti, let's say 150, 200 years ago, then they're no longer Americans. They're Haitians. You know, I mean, I'm just, that's like saying the people in Liberia are still Black Americans. So I'm just trying to figure out exactly what does that have to do with the topic. I'm going to give you 30 seconds to talk about the actual topic, man. We got Tata up here as well, too. So if you want to ask Tata a question, go ahead and ask her a question because she's back.
Hold on, you just said it. So are the people that say they came from Africa on slave ships, are they now African? Now, see, this is where we have to be honest about who we are and who our people here are on this land. You just said that you just ran a whole spiel down, right, about certain people moving and then getting classified as certain people, right? This is what we're talking about when we're talking about who's who, what's what, because if you don't understand who your own people are, where they're from, their story, you're going to find yourself in a space where you're just repetitively talking about the same thing. Right?
Okay, but you had a question that you want to ask Tata. You want to know what Tata was doing. She stays in Central Florida. So you want to know about Seminoles and this and that or whatever. What that has to do with the conversation, I have absolutely no idea. But, Tata's up here. She came up here just so she could answer your question. So let's go ahead and direct, because we got a couple speakers. I want to get to the speakers. And you kind of rambling a little bit. So let's go ahead. So you can ask Miss Tata a question.
I'm not rambling, dude. If you don't understand what I'm saying, then just think that's fine. If Tata want to speak to what I just asked, then that's fine as well. But you're not going to sit here and say, I'm rambling because you don't understand what I'm saying.
Okay, well, you're giving...
Nobody understands what you're saying in this space, bro. I mean, let Tata go ahead.
There's people in this space now. There's people in this space.
I've been drinking.
Let me let Tata. We're gonna let Sister Tata go ahead and answer. You're gonna mute your mic, and we're gonna let Tata. Since you asked for Tata, she came up here. She was gracious enough to come back up here. So let's let Sister Tata go ahead and answer whatever. I don't know what you were really saying, but we'll let Tata try to figure it out. Tata, do you understand what he was saying?
Really, kind of, sort of, but the only thing I wanted to respond to is that my dad's side, they're definitely from here in Florida. All of my great uncle just passed away last week. He was 103. That's my great uncle. And then my great aunt, she's 98. She's here. So a lot of my people on my dad's side, they're like hitting 100. So I know, we were here. My grandfather, they're from Jacksonville, and on my dad's mom side, they were from North Carolina. And my grandmother ran away because her first daughter, she was raped, and she got away from North Carolina and came to Florida. So, and they've been, on that side, we traced from Florida and North Carolina. But on my mom's side, definitely Gullah Geechee, Paulus Island, Georgetown, South Carolina. My grandparents had 15 kids. My mom had 9 brothers. So I know everybody in South Carolina. I got my great-grandmother birth certificate out of the house that she was in. 1883, we have that, but yeah, I don't know if he was saying we got to know who we are, or especially here in Florida and the people that was here in Florida. Yeah, but I'm doing the history.
Okay, yeah, not Tata. I wasn't really challenging you. I wasn't really challenging you or your line, right? What I was trying to do was we have to open up a broader conversation, right? Because when we're talking about these certain spaces, especially in the South, right, a lot of our people are interconnected, and then a lot of our people have got subdued into certain, crown ideologies, right, so to speak, whether it was the Spanish, the French, right, the English, right? This is what happened, right? Now, understanding who's who was what is very important, because if you don't understand it, this is why I try to ask you, are you involved with the bands or the Seminole Nation in Central Florida? Because, right, it's uniquely tied to, people since that time that are now dispersed all across this country, whether you're from Gullah Geechee bloodlines, Choctaw bloodlines, Creek Butt bloodlines, right? Chickasaw bloodlines, Chickasaw bloodlines, you know what I mean? So it's very important to know these things, because when you go in certain places seeking certain information, you have to know what you're looking for, right? Now, broadly, we can. I mean, it's been scoped that, these are all quote unquote African Americans. We know throughout stories.
Okay, bro, I can't do it no more. I mean, I appreciate you coming up here, King Armstrong, but we got to go ahead and move on, man. I'm sorry, it doesn't even pertain to the actual topic tonight. So, thank you, King Armstrong. We appreciate you coming on up here. Let me go ahead and get the Big Ben. Tata, thank you for coming back up here, sweetie. That was we tried, but yeah. Big Ben.
Sorry for wasting your time, sister. Sorry for wasting your time.
That's King Armstrong. That's King Armstrong, aka Chief Dusty Wolf. So shout out to that brother. Let me go ahead and get.
You want to challenge my Wu-Tang style, Toto?
Let me get the Big Ben, because Ben. I'm sorry, Ben. Let me get the Ben, and I just, we had enough though. And shout out to my man Simply Rick for the contribution on Cash App. Ben, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Yeah, what you just heard is jailhouse babble. That's what that was. And I'm so tired of jailhouse babble. I did not interrupt this brother, but what he said was totally ridiculous. And let me tell you why. Then I'll address the topic. In Hollywood, Florida, they have the Seminole Hotel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And that hotel is shaped like a great big guitar that you can see for miles off the turnpike, and even when you are approaching Hollywood, Florida. The Seminoles own that, and if you claim to be Seminole, then you have part ownership of that. In other words, they're paying you. You can easily get a job. You might not even have to work, because that hotel generates so much money. And then within a few miles of that hotel, built and shaped like a guitar, again with the gambling casinos, they have a place for the Seminoles, a brand new establishment, apartments, and they do not have to pay anything, very little. I went on that location one day, because I went on that location and I asked the person, how much do you all pay for rent? The person told me it's determined by the tribe. And so I'm thinking they're not paying that much money, if they are paying anything, to live in that brand new complex. Okay? And so if you're Seminole, then get your name on the list. And so you can live in that beautiful complex that they have and pay little or no rent. Okay? And by the way, that had nothing to do with the topic. Now, Donald Trump, in spite of his shortcomings, this is great what he's doing. This is great. Let me tell you why it's great. In 1980, the Democrats under Jimmy Carter allowed 125 Cubans, and they say 125 Cubans, but I'm sure it was more, to come to South Florida in the Mario boat lift. About 25,000 Haitians came. Castro emptied his jails. I'm sure he wouldn't have done that under Trump, but he emptied his jails and allowed them to come to Miami. And now the Cubans who have come to Miami, Florida, to be honest, many of them are very prejudiced. Many of them are more prejudiced than the Anglo-Saxon whites. There was a police chief in Miami, Florida. The police chief, before that one, he shot himself, tried to commit suicide. Then a black woman became the police chief of Miami-Dade County. The Cubans, as they play unfair, and they don't care about people being represented in this great democracy besides themselves, they changed the entire police department of Miami-Dade County to a sheriff department, which means you have to elect the sheriff. And so they knew when they did that, that black woman would no longer be the chief of the Miami-Dade Police Department. When you look at Miami, Florida, almost every department head in Miami-Dade County is represented by a Cuban, not a Colombian, not a Nicaraguan, not a Puerto Rican, and definitely not a Black American, but a Cuban. And so this massive immigration needs to be stopped. When you go into North Miami, where many of the Haitians have taken over, and the community used to be predominantly white American. And let me just tell you, the God's honest truth, that community looks totally different from when the majority of that population was white American. The North Miami community, they don't vote for Black Americans, okay? They vote for their own Haitian people. In other words, you have immigrants coming over, discriminating against Americans who are already over here. This is ridiculous, and it needs to be stopped. Thank God for Mr. Donald Trump. He's not perfect, but I'm thinking, I do believe he has done some things that Kamala Harris was not going to do. So thank God for Mr. Donald John Trump. I've landed.
All right. Thank you, Ben. Thank you. I see Yoshi. Yoshi, what's up? I see you down there as well, too. What's up? Black Delegation, what's up? I see you down there as well, too. Kim, what's going on with you as well? James, Chris, let me go ahead, Space. Let me go ahead and get to I know this guy can't be seriously talking about trying to come back up here. I know you cannot. And Tata was gracious enough to come back up here, bro. This is not, we're not talking about, and I have no issue with anybody talking about the indigenous roots. But, that's not the actual conversation tonight. So, I don't have an issue with that. From my understanding, my grandmother had some Blackfoot Indian in her as well, too, But, hey, I mean,
Don't do it, News Toter.
I'm not.
That's like watching the episode of In Living Color.
I'm not doing it, bro. I swear I'm not doing it. Like I can't do it again. I just can't. We tried. I was like, let the brother come up here, but I can't do it. Let me get to Starry. Starry, what's going on with you tonight?
I will vote for Donald Trump. Okay, sorry. Okay, I was on it. But no, seriously. Co-host to the room, thank you. Let me say this. Sorry about the noise earlier. I was playing around, but and I didn't know my mic was on. All jokes aside, thank God for Trump. I don't care what no Negro, Black American have to say when it comes to Trump. He has done justice for us, and we, a lot of us, not all, didn't even realize. It's funny that the last speaker, I think Ben was saying how people vote their own folks in, but also too, people vote their own interest. Americans don't vote their interest. They tell us what we vote for, and we go forward.
Star, you sound like you might be in the Star. You might be in the Matrix. You sound you kind of you really choppy.
Sorry. Okay, is that better? Hold on.
Yeah, that's better.
Hold on. Let me take these off. Sorry. But okay. Pardon me. But Black Americans have not, from what I can see recently, I can say, we have not voted our interests. And now, today, we own it. So when it comes to the Cubans and the Haitians, and I think it was a few other of the groups, and their passports or whatever you want to say, or their pass here to the United States being revoked, I don't feel bad. You know, they're not American as well. You know, we play these games. They treat us who are Americans very, very bad and disrespectful. Not all, but a big group. And they squad up. They take resources from us and start their own and would not share. You know, they would not share. If they have a scholarship for a Haitian, that's for a Haitian. That's not for a Black American young woman named Starry, right? Same thing with any other group. But anyway, I'll be short. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. I appreciate that. Let me go ahead and get to Original. Go ahead and unmute your mic. Professor DJ, y'all hold it down for 1 second for me.
Yeah, I just want to say this, but, you know, Ty and Starry and everybody was saying, see, I know this brother, and I got to call him too. This brother, he worked with Dr. King. He knew Dr. King personally. And he told me that it was, you know, years ago, he was trying to tell the Haitians how they should move. They rebuffed him. And then when what they was doing collapsed, they ran to him for support. He was like, look, I don't have time for you now. I tried to tell you what to do. What Starry just said is true. These people don't come to us unless they get in trouble. And now we're like, you are gonna have to, as they say, hold your own nuts. We're not coming to the rescue anymore. We're done with that. And see, just like, you know, this guy, was it a boy, John Legamo? Now, see, initially when he came out saying that Latinos are the oldest demographic in this country, said they built this country. Now, all of a sudden, since they are under attack, now he is saying that it was Black and Latinos who built this country. Now, wait a minute. Why did you change? You see, these people, I'm glad Donald Trump is doing what he's doing, you know, because this will give us some kind of a reprieve. And let's not forget, the Democrats, their approval rating is like 27%. So they're in the toilet. I mean, they thought they was going to jack us up, and we jacked them up. And I think if he can get even more of these people up out of here, get them out of here, because they have no business spending. All they do, they get, it's like they said, they double dip. They got scholarship just for their communities. They get those scholarships, and then they get the ones that are for us just because their skin look like ours. They claim, they go back and forth, and that's why we must get our freedman status reinstated. because as long as we're doing what we're doing, because see, when that affirmative action in civil rights law passed back in the 60s, then they made white women a minority. Now, white women there's supposed to be more women than there are men. So I'm trying to figure out how did white women become a minority. This whole thing is jacked up, and they're trying to, and we cannot let up off these Democrats. Because what they're trying to do now, they're trying to figure out how they can trick us to vote for them without getting anything. Because see, like right here in Georgia, they're trying to throw the old Raggedy Lucy Macbeth to run for governor. And see, it's interesting because see, each time there's a brother here, his name is Michael Thurman. Each time somebody hint that he may run for governor, the Democrats throw a woman up there, a black woman up there, and they don't even help black women when they're running for their public office. They don't help them. There was an article that stated how the there was some black candidates running against some of the incumbent Democrats. They labeled them as insurgent candidates. And they said if any media consultants, and I can't think of what the third one was, said that if they assisted them in winning, that they would blacklist them from the Democrats. Now, the Democrats are supposed to be the party of inclusion. That is not, the Democrats hate black people. They don't want nothing, all they want is our vote to undermine us. And now that they see that they don't have it no more, I'm glad the Democrats are catching all this hell. I don't know what to do. I'm so happy. Because we're not going to sit up here and give you a vote, and you're not going to do anything for us. Because see, you got the old black media. They sitting up there, they co-sign all this stuff. You know, I don't know if I mentioned it to you, but I had to call out some people on the local radio station here. And when I told them about how black media knew about Jesse Jackson's baby that he had outside of his marriage, the lady started saying, well, that's personal. No, it's not. He's a public figure. And so anything, and black media knew about that baby, but didn't say anything. See, that's how low down they are. And they want to try to convince us to roll with them. No, we're not. No, we have new black media. That's why we're not rolling with them, because black media.
Women are original. He was just keeping hope alive. Keep hope alive.
There you go, Professor. Keep hope alive. What he said, I am somebody.
I am somebody. Yes, I am.
That's what But I just want to say that because, see, now that these people are in trouble, you all have seen them on social media saying, where are the black people? Oh, we over here chilling. We got a big bowl of popcorn and a big pitcher of red Kool-Aid, and we just watching the show. And I'm going to land on that one.
All right, I'm back. Let me go ahead and get to Starry. Starry, you got it.
Okay, I'm just going to jump in and I'm going to jump right out. A few things. First thing is that we need to be thinking now. What do we do post-Trump? Black Americans, we need to be forward thinking right now. Because there's going to come a time where he's not going to be in office, y'all. And I ain't trying to be funny. God gave, you know how they say sometimes God take care of fools and babies. I think the fatherless, I'm sorry. And I know at least two of those out of the three, but I don't think a lot of us seen it. Trump was God sent. Yes, some things you can kind of like side eye, but hell, half that shit don't even. Half that stuff don't even affect us. Majority of it. Second thing I want to say was I'm gonna piggyback off of original. Oh, Miss Macbeth, Lucy Macbeth. You got to remember, and I said this a long time ago. The Democrats use everything from Black Americans. They give us positions, and then they use us. Her son, God rest his soul, he was murdered. They gave her a position. They put her in position, and I noticed that she doesn't advocate for us at all, because we know that Nancy Pelosi ran a tight ship. Everybody know that. And she gave them quote unquote, their talking points and what they're going to do. And she was the one that told everybody to get into that kente cloth and kneel down on one leg. And that ain't even our culture at all. You know, kente cloth.
Oh, you're in the matrix. You're in the matrix. Yeah, you're in the matrix. Yes. Can you hear us, Star? Okay.
Yes. Can I hear you? I mean, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to land then. But again, if you look up Miss Macbeth, just like the rest of them, don't let her get in there. We don't need no Democrats nowhere near us. They have to crash and burn for good. And then we can go through the rubble and pick out if there's anything that we, Black Americans, want to pick out. Leave these folks, let them folks go head on. The reason why we're talking about this 530,000 is because of the Democrats. Mind you, they opened that border and they turned a blind eye and let any and everything come through that border. I believe that they was letting other stuff come through there for their own benefit as well, including getting money for these folks and washing their hands. You know what I mean? So thank you.
Hey, Starry, look in the purple pill. I put Lucy this is the platform she just ran on and won in 2024. Notice how at the top of her platform is gay rights, and then on down below it's like stuff for immigrants. She offered Black people, like these other Democrats, they don't offer us anything for our vote. They take our vote and they use it to represent every demographic except for us. And then they sit up there and look at us like, well, we can't do anything for, we're not accepting that anymore. So I want you to see that, because I won't vote for that witch. I'll vote for the Republican. I don't care how racist he is, because what she and Democrats are doing to us is more racist. And I'll land, let Miss Tata come up here.
All right, Tata, you got it. You there, Tata? You got it.
Okay, I'm here. Yeah, I just wanted to say real quick before I was on my rant that, within the workforce, it's a sense of calmness now, and the flags are gone. I don't see the flags like they were before. They're hiding those flags now. I'm seeing an influx of Black men coming into these centers. We got all kinds of warehouse positions open, a lot of companies looking for drivers. So I'm seeing a lot of more Black men on these construction sites, because Orlando is booming. They making bridges all over, like from SeaWorld to Disney, because we had so many people that flooded, especially my hometown, Davenport, Polk County, Lakeland area, because of the pandemic and people having to, that didn't want to get the jab and everything. They moved here to Florida because it wasn't a mandate. And but before Biden got in, we were paying people like the minimum wage, like at 15, back in 2019. Things were going up, when Trump was in. And then when they flooded these people in, and that's when the wages started going down. Now we see that they're, picking back up to like $15, $20 an hour, or way over 20 an hour now. These companies are paying 25, 26. My son, he just 20 years old. He's working for the biggest construction supply company in the U.S. And 20 years old, they got him driving. He have a CDL. He's making over $50,000 a year. This young man, I'm like, you putting this money in the bank. And but yeah, I'm loving it. I see the change. I see all the Black men coming in. getting these jobs on these construction sites. And then before when I was looking for a lot of the Black businesses, a lot of these people, they were hiding behind Black American, because I was looking for a lot of these small businesses, and they were, a lot of Caribbean and everything. But they come to our workforces to get these resources that they need to open these businesses or to get on food stamps and, all of this stuff that they claim, we just came over here with nothing. No, they go right to these places where we work, all these Department of Labors, and that's where they start, right there. So I'll land. Thank you, Toter.
News Toter, can I piggyback really quick off of Tete?
Yeah.
Just real quick. Okay, thank you. Again, thank God for Donald Trump. I have family that's in Florida as well. And since you are in Florida, you already know. Well, I think News Toter is in Florida as well. That don't make no sense. And then when we try to go and talk to the Democrats about what's going on, they sided with everybody but us. At least give us a safety net in this, knowing that they're going to be an influx of people coming in, instead of saying, hey, we're going to make sure you guys are taken care of, but also, too, we are going to pull in whatever. They didn't even consult us. They stood their ground on us and pushed us down. So I don't fool with them at all, and it will be as they say, us not to fool with these folks. They're not going to do us no well. We know that. And I know I sound like a Southern person when I say they ain't going to do us no well. They ain't going to do us no good. Yeah, and I think that, again, let's push forward and see what we're going to do post-Trump, because we're doing things different. We're not that same group that they had in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, the early 2000s, and so on. So, but thank you. I'm going to drop.
All right. Thank you. So we got Trouble coming up here. So let me get Trouble up here. Trouble, you up here? You want to speak? Oh, you got it. I see you got your hand up.
Hey, it just clicked on my end. This app has been acting real kind of flaky for a minute. I just want to say, and this is nothing against anything anybody has said, because we all have different opinions. One thing I can agree on is that we really should be strategizing and planning on what we're going to do post-Trump. I am not a fan of either party, so I don't thank God for neither one of them, especially Trump, especially according to what we've seen he didn't do during his first term. Earlier, when I first spoke, I had talked to you all about this post that I'd seen, and I just put it down in the purple pill, about how since the Bay of Pigs happened during Kennedy's term, the CIA had been bringing specific immigrants over here from specific countries, placing them in certain states so that they could get their numbers up over time and elect their own people to be in our Congress so that they could enforce policies that they wanted within their own countries. At the same time, what that has done for us here, it has destabilized the Black communities in more than just one way. It's not just about the jobs. It's about the jobs. It's about the destabilization of our fundings for small businesses. It's about the destabilization of our homes, our housing. It's about a lot. And I want us as Black people to stop thinking that it was just the Democrats who did this. It wasn't. There is no way in hell that all the way back during this time, and they want to blame it on the CIA, but that's the American government. And who compromises the American government? Republicans and Democrats. It's not just one group. It's both groups. Now, I could ever more believe that the Democrat was complicit in bringing the multiple melanated people here, but and the GOP is probably complicit in bringing the Irish and the white-facing immigrants here. So no, thank God for Trump, because the only thing Trump isn't doing anything right now because it's benefiting Black people. What Trump is doing right now is, when you look at Congress, and the makeup of Congress is probably majority immigrants, second and third generation.
So what Trump is doing is he's getting rid of the melanated immigrants while probably keeping all of the white-facing immigrants. So this whole immigration situation, there's no thank God for him, because the white immigrants is just as harmful as the black ones. It's just that because we're in the black community, we pay more attention to the black immigrants. So I mean, that's where I'm at on that. And I just honestly, I really just can't wait for us to get to a point where we see the playbook. I mean, clearly see the playbook when it comes to both parties. They're just now bringing this information forth, which means that both parties who's been in the presidential seat, Republicans and Democrats, knew that this is what was going on, and they both willingly participated in it. Both parties are participating and keeping their foot on Black America's necks. So let's stop thanking God for these crackers just because they not the crackers we currently pissed with. Alan.
Hey, Trouble.
Boom.
Remember, Trouble, when they passed the Asian hate crime bill, both Democrats and Republicans voted for it, and Jim Crow Joe signed it. But yet, they can't come together and do stuff on our reparations demand. So you are actually right, and I land.
Because I think that when trouble come up, I was only one of those things back for him. So if I can defend my stance, that's okay.
Oh yeah, you can go ahead. I know she wasn't attacking you or anything like that, but yeah, but go ahead.
No, I didn't say no. No, I didn't say that.
It wasn't just you that said it, baby girl. It was about two other people that had made that same comment, and I've been in threads. So, but just it's been said and it brought back to my attention. So it wasn't necessarily a direct attack against you, because you aren't the only one who said that. I've been seeing that a lot in threads online, and when I listen in on Spaces, a lot of times I'm constantly hearing us saying, "Oh, Trump is doing this and doing that for us. He's for the Black Americans," and it's like, oh my God, like what kind of world? What are we thinking about here? So, but go ahead, baby.
No, that's understandable. For me, I appreciate Trump. And I respect what you're saying, that both the Democrats and Republicans, we know that. But I've been in the bed with the Democrats. I sat at your table, you sat at mine. You took my money and you gave it to somebody else. I can't kind of speak because you're supposed to be.
Yeah, you sound like you're in the Matrix again.
Sorry. Can you hear me better?
Let me hear you talk. Go ahead.
Okay, I need to drop down and come back.
You sound better now, but go ahead.
Okay, perfect. So when we talk about what was about to happen, if the Democrats would have stayed in power, they would have done I don't think, from what I can see, what Trump has done. And I appreciate him. You might not, because we're not a monolith at all. I appreciate what he's doing, because I know if the Democrats would have got in, it would have been reversed, and it would have been my behind and my folks like us on the hot seat and being harmed. I do understand that the history of the Republican Party, but we don't really fool with them like that. But I like what Trump is doing. Let me say that. And I ain't mad at him, for me. So I'll leave it at that. I hope he continue doing more. And hopefully we can get more out of the deal. But the Democrats put us in such a bad predicament that it's sad that I got to say, man, wow, this is great. We should have been getting way more out of them fools. So, and I'll leave it at that, Trouble, but this is American, so I know you know me when I say American. Okay, thank you.
Oh, okay, can I say a few words? Just a few words. This is Ben Ben.
Oh, okay. But Ben, hold on 1 second. We got a new speaker, got a hand up, so let me get to Dr. Lisa Brown, and then I'll get back to you.
I just told her, can you hear me, dear?
Yes, I can hear you. How you doing tonight?
I'm very good. I just wanted to co-sign Starry Branch. I think it's so interesting, this new tactic that we're seeing among people who are saying, I don't care about either party, but then they unload all of this vitriol against Trump in their diatribes. I just find that very interesting. So I just got done being in a national meeting with ASALH, and that's the Association for the Study of African American Life and History, and it was founded by Carter G. Woodson. And we had a chat, right? One of the guest speakers there was Al Green. I was in there tearing them up in that chat with no shame. I said, and they said they're talking about having some boycotts and sit-ins. I said, no, what y'all need to do is give us some policy. Listen, y'all gonna miss out on this black paradigm shift, and you need to get in those social media spaces where these young black people are telling y'all that they want policy and tangibles. I am not interested in electing or bringing back into Congress anyone who is not going to deliver for our people. And I'm in there just going off in the chat, and I was just like, I don't even care. They can kick me out if they want to, because we are so used to people kind of gaslighting us, and then at the same time making these little passive-aggressive attacks. Okay, I consider myself a political independent. I don't really got no particular love for Trump, but I love some of the policy. And that's what I asked them to do. Give us some policy if you want our vote. They have been so conditioned to give us nothing and expect our votes. It's just amazing to me. But I just want to say I'm proud of most of the people in this room. If I sometimes I'm at work and I can't join, but I'll listen. Y'all keep on keeping the fire turned up, because it's a new day. We are not going back to what we used to do. And like Starry was saying, we need to start planning for what we're going to do post-Trump, post-Trump. Because we need to have policy and resources that are given to us. We sat here and watched all of that money that everybody was hiding that was going to U.S. aid. And then people started to act like they can't give us our reparations. Y'all must be kidding me. It's not going to go down like that no more. So we are requiring that people do stuff in exchange for our vote. And y'all keep up the good work and keep up the pressure, because everybody else gets things and don't even have to do nothing. You know, I sat there and listened to them talk about giving resources to people. Somebody was talking about doing something about a memorial for slavery or something like that. And y'all was like, what for? Just give us our money, and we can just set up whatever we want in terms of how we want to capture and preserve historically our history in this country. We don't need these. We don't need no more symbolism and no more little goofy, and I literally said goofy, displays of Trump derangement syndrome out of our political leaders. We need to get them in there setting up policy and figuring out how they don't get the majority of those other Congress people to vote to give us our money. Because reparations resources that are owed. Reparations are not a handout. Reparations are not a favor. They are the debt that is owed for the things that we have suffered in this country and the wealth that was denied to us. They in there talking about DEI. I got that chat. I said, DEI did not help us. What is y'all talking about? So we got to have allies. Allies from who? If they couldn't figure out, now they're supposed to be helping us. Where they going to come from? What's the motivation for them? They talking about, I said, DEI help white women, just like affirmative action. Y'all need to do a little bit more research before you start giving us platitudes and symbolism. So we're going to see what happens. I am running for the executive board. So we're going to see what happens going forward. But I'm not biting my tongue anymore, because we're at the point now where we need to have courage. And I said, if you're going to be a coward, you should not be a political leader. You know, we need people who are going to be willing to stand up. And if you ain't supposed to be there, then you're not going to be there. You know, find another thing to do to make money in your life. But if you're going to be our representatives, you need to represent us. Okay, that's what I want to share. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Let me go ahead and get to Ben. You wanted to say something? I know Trouble wants to say something because you got her hand up. Ben, you want to say something real quick?
Yeah. I wanted to say something. Yeah, let me just say what I said before. Thank God for Trump. And I say thank God for Trump because when have you ever had to be perfectly in line with the sovereign creator of the universe for the sovereign creator of the universe to use somebody? And I'm saying this as a person who believes in the Bible. You read the Bible, God used Pharaoh. Okay, God used Pharaoh. God used the enemies of the covenant community to drive toward a purpose. So a person doesn't have to be perfectly in line with me for me to appreciate their policies. I see God working through them. Okay. Now, with Donald Trump, with the Cuban issue, I said that Jimmy Carter allowed 125,000 Cubans to come over to the United States of America, particularly South Florida. Then it was Bill Clinton who did the wet foot, dry foot. The wet foot, dry foot policy was this. In order to, the Cubans were going out to the ocean and bringing other Cubans in. So Clinton said, okay, to be processed as a citizen, you had to have 1 foot on soil. That's the wet foot, dry foot. Then Obama came later, and in the last months of Obama's office, he was mad at the Cubans because they voted Republican. And so President Obama, by executive order, ended the wet foot, dry foot policy. Under Joe Biden reversed the order of President Obama. In other words, Biden's policy on Cuba was different. Okay, Trump has come in, and Trump has said anybody who has been to Cuba in the last 5 years, and they say they wanted to come to America because of political oppression, they can now be deported back to Cuba. What a wonderful policy. And that's why I said God is using Donald Trump. And there's nothing wrong with that. That man doesn't have to be perfectly aligned with your sensibilities. Okay? And neither, let me just put it this way also. I'm going to go back in history just for a second, too. I'm about to land. Abraham Lincoln signed Special Field Order number 15, which would have given the former slaves 40 acres and a mule, and he was shot in the head the very next day. But thank God for Abraham Lincoln, who issued the Emancipation Proclamation by executive order. Then the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment backed him up. But Abraham Lincoln said some things I really don't agree with, but I could see God using Abraham Lincoln. So nobody has to be, let us not be so myopic to think a person has to be totally aligned with us for the sovereign creator to use that person, because that is totally ridiculous. I've landed.
All righty. Let me get to my girl Trouble. Trouble, go ahead and unmute your mic.
Trouble. He's landed. We don't have to be perfect aligned with nobody, and I could care less. I could also care less about I could care less if you would co-sign pineapples and anchovies on a pizza. I could care less about who you co-sign. And anybody who knows me knows that I don't go on diatribes about just the Republicans. I have opinions about both parties. So when I'm talking about both parties, and I recognize the harms that both parties has brought upon my people. And that's simply what I'm speaking on. You don't have to agree or disagree. I can really care less. As far as policies goes, what Trump has been issuing is executive orders. That's not policies. That could be taken away as soon as the next president comes into office. So align yourself with who you want to align yourself with. Thank God for Trump. If you want to thank God for Trump, I don't thank God for these crackers on either side of the aisle who has been complicit in the oppression of my people just because they did something that looks like it's going to work in our favor. Because I know at the end of the day, they have their own agenda and reasonings for doing what it is that they're doing. And anything that we benefit from is only going to be temporary at best. So, thank God for Trump. Hallelujah. Amen.
All righty. Dr. Lisa Brown, you got it, Doc.
Yeah, I mean, I ain't in that thank God for Trump kind of mood, but I certainly mean into, a person signed something, took a bullet to the head, so let's celebrate. I'm interested in justice and righteousness. And I feel like our ability to get what we want needs to be bipartisan. I do not want my elected officials sitting on their hands for 4 years while our condition worsens and we get nothing. So that's what's important to me. And I just wanted to reiterate that. It's not about the mule that the Lord brings in to deliver the message. It's the message and the power behind that mule. And that's what I'm interested in seeing happen for us. Justice, no matter who delivers it. And I don't worship people, I only worship God. But if He's going to use people to get stuff done for us, then so be it. But I think we need to be very careful. We'll elevate any people that we end up worshiping them instead of, worshiping the God of the universe. I just think that's kind of weird. But yeah, so that's it.
All right. Thank you, Doctor. Appreciate it. I saw no taxation coming up here. Does she want to speak? No taxation. You want to say something before we close this thing out in a second?
Hey, News.
Hey, what's up? How you doing?
DJ Original, all the usual suspects, and everybody in the room. I hope everybody has a great week, and I hope they had a great start to this week. Well, I have a question before I say anything. Where did you get the information that he's revoking protections? Are you talking about the green cards? Because that's a low number for me. So, and I agree with the other lady that said she sees people getting the jobs now. Are people getting the jobs? Because I'm seeing it too. They getting them up out of here, baby. Oh, he getting them up out of here. Either that or they hide, and probably both. But I didn't read that piece of news. Where'd you get that information, News?
That's from the it's a bunch of websites got that the Pittsburgh Courier, MSNBC. It's a bunch of them. Yeah, that article because it came out on the 21st. So yeah, it's and I read it tonight too. It's basically the program. What was the program called?
The temporary protections, and that applied to them Ukrainians too. So he's not just doing that, and it's impacting people, who are melanated. It's affecting Ukrainians too.
I get it now.
It's a CHNV program which Biden launched in 2022.
Yeah, I see it now because those are low numbers, and it just looks like he's concentrating on Florida. But now I understand it. If you're talking about the that limited amount of time that they had those protections and they taken them away. I get it now.
Well, there were 60,000 Haitians in Ohio, so that's
really?
Yes.
I wonder why he didn't put Somalis on there. That's another conversation.
They might not have temporary protection. I think they got special refugee status. Yeah, they did in Columbus.
Yeah, she really working. She came over here and took over. But that's another conversation for another day. I'm an independent, and I was raised in a Republican, very conservative household, and my mother was a Democrat, and so I see both sides of the aisle a lot. I don't see too many people. I think it's starting to break up there because they realize they've been messing up a lot, and for a long period of time, and they realize that they need more. There are some people that have always worked across the aisle, but I think that's going to be more. But there's also a team of them up there that are totally against us. And I'm going to address those people in my own way, probably this week, just to put them on notice, to let them know that we're watching them. Don't count our money, we won't count yours. How about that? But anyway, that's another conversation for another day. I see some wins and losses. Probably what's near and dear to my heart, the biggest loss is that they closed or defunded. I don't know what happened. But ain't nobody up there. It was only 3 people in the beginning. The Environmental Justice Office and the EPA. And the money was allocated. Michael Reagan, there was a Democrat that was under Biden. Young black man, he did a wonderful job. And he got that money out there, but now has it hit ground? Are they doing it? Those are the things the nuances that I look out for. Yeah, the money was supposed to go there, but what happened when it got there? Did it get there, So I don't know if there'll ever be a follow-up. And if it does, it's going to have to come from the people that are poisoned, and cancer clusters, and people in Lowndes County and stuff like that. But anyway, so that's one hit that we took. I know we took a hit. I haven't looked at commerce. We took a hit in agriculture. I think today we took a hit in, I haven't looked at HUD. We took a hit in, let's see, commerce. I think we're going to take a big hit as far as small business is concerned. And I don't know if they're going to, redo them. I don't know what they're going to do. I know that the first term, he got rid of some programs that were near and dear to some people's hearts that I knew, because they depended on that money for their business. But, the 100 days is not up. We're still really early in the game. Some of the money that he's taken away, he's actually put back in some areas. We just have to watch it. It's always about follow the money. But I will say this, if there's an opportunity for us to get anything on deck, now is the time, because it's a free-for-all out here. We might as well join them. Everybody, Trump is throwing money around. See, he needs to throw some our way, and we have to keep our eyes on the prize. We can't lose focus on anything that has to do with politics. We have to really, really look at the numbers, watch the numbers, because as always, when Republicans are in office, they're better at a numbers game than the Democrats, to me, if you ask me. They keep their numbers pretty tight. So they're getting the people up out of here. I do see more black persons, our people, getting jobs, the jobs that were there before. In fact, even whites out here where I live, because I went to the car wash and all of them were gone, the ones that didn't speak English, and it was some white boys out there. So that was unusual for me. But, I think we just need to hang tight and keep, we got to keep reading the room and looking at the landscape, and we'll be able to see where we are a little bit better when the 100 days is up, because the dust hasn't settled yet. I don't even know, did Dr. Brown leave? Okay. Dr. Brown, do you know if they have an interim at the top of the DNC, but do you know if they have appointed anyone to sit in that seat? Have they said anything?
Yeah, I don't follow the national Democrats as much as my local and state ones, so I have no idea what they're doing. I know they had this one guy looked like Pinocchio that was going to run the, I think the DNC, whoever orchestrates a I don't know what it's called.
Is you lying to me now? Is you lying to me now? Nose grow.
No. This guy, he looked just like Pinocchio to me. Y'all see him?
You lied to me now?
No. Go look him up. He was just that guy. I know Howard Dean. You know him. Whatever that position he held, the Democratic National Chair. Yeah. Go look at that guy they put in there. He a little skinny white dude. I think he's yes. And so even as go ahead.
He got appointed like the 3rd of February, and they were like, at the end of February, they were like, you really got to come here and go to the job. You do know that, right? You didn't want to leave the state. I was like, oh,
he looked like he weighed 110 pounds soaking wet. He was the George strength. So what that did was send a message that they really weren't interested in the dissatisfaction we expressed. So that was kind of disappointing. I know that they had one lady who sang a song when they were looking at their candidates. I think she sang some kind of Negro spiritual, but they didn't pick her. And so they saying that Black women are the backbone of the party, but they're not putting them in positions of leadership going forward. So I have no idea what the national party's doing.
And the ones they do pick are handpicked, and they're tapped from back in the day, even original. And I talk about that all the time about Big Swole. But anyway, I say this. Let's read the room. The tea leaves. The tea leaves will be, one of them was just put out. I think it was today or Friday or some, in the very recent or even right now. Bernie Sanders. This is what they're trying to do. They're throwing everything against the wall, y'all, to see what sticks. And so they put Bernie Sanders and AOC together. Well, that means we're out. If that takes in their party, we are completely out over there on that side. And we need to make sure that they understand that from the very beginning. You all can put up who you want to, and you all can run policy behind these anti-black folks if you want to, but we're going to tell all our people, get off that plantation, because you mean us no good. And that has nothing to do with voting for a Republican or not. That has everything to do with you're showing us how anti-black you are. Bernie Sanders has never been for us, and AOC certainly is not for us. So that's one thing they're showing. And I think who they put in that seat to head the DNC will also tell a story about how they're going to put that party back together. Here's what I would like to see, and I don't know who mentioned it, but a young woman was talking. And she said, we need to, after Trump, we need to know what we're going to do. We need to know what we're going to do right now, number one. And then number two is, she's absolutely correct. I say we keep another Republican in there for another 4 years. That will get the Democrats off of us and give them time to figure their mess out and come back to the table and govern like they're supposed to. Because that's what they get paid to do. And let's not forget that. They're not doing their job. They're not earning their money. And so we have to just press forward. Thanks, News. That was an interesting space. I appreciate you. That's it.
All right. Thank you, sister. I'm going to go ahead and let Starry come up here. You'll be the last speaker, and we're going to go ahead and close it out for the night.
Perfect. I was over here screaming. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. No taxation, but also to Dr. Lisa and also Trouble and everybody else. You was thinking what I was thinking as I was laying here, and that was going to be my last comment. Oh my God, that was going to be my last comment. The last thing that you said. They can't get back in there, y'all. Look at what we have. Look at this Somali lady. Omar Ilhan or Ilham Omar, whatever.
And her daughter got reparations for Juneteenth. Kick them off the country.
They can listen, and this is on everything we love. They can't get back in. Make them crawl, make them beg, and then after that, they shouldn't be able to get back in after that, because at that time we're going to be able to start running and pushing our own people and everything else. They understand right now that the hit ain't been hard enough. They ready to disrespect us again. We gotta tear them down. That Democratic Party, that burning house that Martin Luther King told us that he accidentally, or told whomever that he accidentally led us in, that it have to go down, y'all. I know we're gonna cry because we've been in that bad boy for a long, long time, and it's familiarity, right? No longer can it be that. We gotta let it die off. We have a lot of smart people, not only in this room, but in Black American society, period. As we go forward, we don't do what we did 10 years ago. AOC and Bernie Mac, or whatever the man's name is. Let me not disrespect Bernie Mac like that, because Bernie be looking down where he get me, but no. Bernie Sanders.
America?
I'm just joking. Yeah, I said that. This is America, but hold on. As I end with this, y'all. No taxation, you said it. They can't get back in. Not feel like this. I ain't trying to be funny. I'm doing it anyway, quiet as it's kept. I coined the term like maybe 7, 8 years ago, demon rats and demon crats. And I'm hearing it used more and more, but I couldn't put my face and my name out there with it because of the work I did. And when you are in the government like that, you got to remember that the demon crats was over everything. So certain things that you cannot do, like today, I can stand up and say, hey, I don't play that. I don't like that. And I can kind of stand up for myself now. So with that being said, drag them through the mud, get AOC, Bernie Sanders, the other, not Sheila Jackson Lee, but the young lady that just took over her spot, Jasmine. They all got to go, y'all. Let that ship sink. Okay, thank you.
Can I say something real quick, please?
Real quick, let me give a shout out. Okay. Let me give a shout out real quick.
Sure.
A shout out real quick to Miss Trigger for the contribution on Cash App. But go ahead, Dr. Lisa Brown. I'll let you be the last speaker for the night.
Thank you so kindly. I do not want to throw my local elected officials under the bus because I don't do this absolutist all Democrats is bad, because I got some good Democrats in my state of Ohio. And I also happen to be in the state where J.D. Vance was a senator. And I started approaching him way before he even got selected for the vice presidency. And just, like I know Ben was talking about how the Lord will move. You never know who's going to be in position to do what. I met with his director for his campaign when he was a senator, and they put me in touch with his general counsel. That man is now general counsel to him in the White House. His name is Ben Moss. And so I was able to talk with them about what the OMB was doing. And I think that both of them, my congressional representative, who's a Democrat, Amelia Sykes, my sister, Ryan Sims, and J.D. Vance's office all took up that cause about the OMB. So that's what I was saying. We have to be strategic and be willing to work across the aisles to those people who are going to advance our interests, and not necessarily always say all Democrats is bad and all Republicans is bad, or vice versa. You have to do the work of getting to see how they vote and get in there, putting pressure on them, telling them what you want. And so I just wanted to say that. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Brown. We're going to go ahead and we're going to end it on that note. DJ, Professor, before I end it, I'll let you two guys go ahead and get something in if y'all want to say something. If not, then we'll close it out.
Yeah. Again, so ICE is, the IRS is partnering up with ICE to get these illegals up out of here. MAGA, laga. I don't care what the numbers looking like. Long as they looking like what they doing on the surface, and they getting them up out of here. You know what I'm saying? One tether at a time. Good night.
All right. Professor, you got something to say?
Yeah, I second that. One tether at a time, one brownie at a time, one Asian at a time, whatever they call it.
Late night space.
Hey, yeah, late night space, everybody. Late night space, but that's what it's all about, y'all.
One tether at a time.
One tether and one immigrant at a time, and we're gonna be back where we need to be. And of course, we're gonna stay on our business too. So that's what it's all about, family. And good night. Thank you all for coming up into space. And label, share some of that label drink with me. Whatever that is you drink.
Nah, that's the poison. That's the poison. Nas told you that's the poison, bro. Know what I'm saying?
All right, we're gonna go ahead on that note, guys. We're gonna somebody's phone sounded like they I don't know, somebody had an open mic, but good space. Appreciate all the speakers, listeners tonight. Thank you guys. Catch a late night space with DJ and Professor. And on that note, we'll be back tomorrow night because we'll have another good space plan, guys. So peace and be safe.